And we are live. Hey, everybody, this is Roberto Blake helping you create something awesome today. So first of all, this is a Sunday stream, so happy Father's Day to everybody here on Sunday. And today is going to be a couple of things. We're going to start off with some advice for small YouTubers, give you guys some really good replay value. So we're going to talk about things that you need to know about the YouTube algorithm as a small YouTuber, kicking this off, and I have a special guest. Then we're going to get into channel reviews a little bit later if you're watching this live. So if you're watching the replay, we're going to try and do timestamps for you. For those of you watching live on YouTube and you want a channel review, you have to follow the rules that are in the description down below. I've also pinned a comment reminding you that there are rules down below with regard to channel reviews. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into today's YouTube live stream. If you are watching this, whether it's the replay or whether you're here with us live, please share out the stream. The stream is actually brought to you by two amazing sponsors. StreamYard, the easiest streaming solution that there ever is, ever was, or probably ever will be. It's letting us stream right now to YouTube, Facebook groups, LinkedIn Live, and Twitter all at once. It's also going to allow me to easily bring in my special guests without anything to download. The best part is it's free for you to try right now with a lot of the features. You can use the simulcasting and the feature for bringing in guests completely free. Just go to robertoblake.com/go/StreamYard or use the link in the description down below. Stream is also brought to you by Tubebuddy. I believe Tubebuddy to be the #1 tool for YouTubers, both in terms of productivity and in terms of optimizing your YouTube videos and getting amazing data. It also can help you better understand your YouTube channel. So make sure you're checking out Tubebuddy, also for free in the description down below. So check out our wonderful sponsors. And now on with the show. Joining me today is my boy, your boy, Viper, the man about tech. Viper, welcome back to the program. Ready to help some small YouTubers?
You know, funny you should ask me that question, Roberto. I am ready, I stay ready, Roberto. I'm not going to get too much into all
We're
that.
not going to get into the...
We're not getting into that, but I'm here.
We're not going to get
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
We're not going to get into Twitter drama today. But you all always appreciate Viper, as do I. And I think it's important here to have somebody who still is. I mean, I have other YouTube channels, but again, I'm not a small YouTuber. I have a lot of experience. I've grown the channel to 500,000 subscribers, but Viper is no stranger to YouTube and no stranger to helping smaller YouTubers, new content creators. He's actually inspired a lot of people to start their YouTube channel, their YouTube journey. We were just talking about our friend Oscar, who recently jumped into YouTube. There's a couple of other people from the Clubhouse gang that have jumped into YouTube because of you, Viper. Not because of me, but because of you. So being a small YouTuber, you could still influence and inspire other people. You don't need to have hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
No doubt, man. Hey, as long as you are willing to put yourself out there and tell your truth, you'd be surprised how many people will back you up on that. As long as you're being true to people and doing right by people, I should say, people will support you no matter what your sub count is. So,
yeah, it's like you always have the opportunity if you put yourself out there to build an audience. So first of all, I want to welcome LLN Carolinas to the membership. Welcome to the awesome squad. And I believe they also just dropped a $25 super chat. So that's what's up. And they say, can't wait to meet you at People of Video in Albany. Yes, I will be speaking at People of Video in Albany, and I will be speaking at Vid Summit this year. We're back to in-person events, Viper. Can you feel it?
Yes. Not only will Roberto Blake be at Vid Summit, but the man about tech himself, for the first time in 3 years, the Viper is coming back to Vid Summit. Yeah, baby, we gonna be here.
Yeah, no, we're back. We're back. It's like, hey, not only are we back, America's back. America's back.
Yeah,
America's back.
Let's
yeah,
go.
Can y'all feel that, by the way? Like, I'm actually genuinely excited about that. Like, I feel it. America's back.
We in the building.
Yeah. Anyway, can't wait to meet you as well. It says excited to be a new channel member and improve content strategy, also business around YouTube. Yeah, absolutely. So LLN Carolinas, also let me know if you wanted a channel review so that we can put you in the queue for that. So just let me know in the chat, and mods, stay on top of me with that. want to say big shout out to all of our mods and all of our frequent viewers and supporters. And then we also have another quick super chat here. Viper, but while I'm getting to these, I'll actually, Creator Wizard, thank you for the $30 super chat. Again, let me know if, wow, we got these super chats coming in back to back. Wow.
Yeah, shout out to
thank
my
you,
man,
everybody.
Creator Wizard, man. I appreciate everything that you do, man. Thank you.
Elizabeth's Chronicles. Yeah. For those of you who just submitted the super chats, okay, I'm confirming these were also for reviews. So let me just make sure that those are in the queue, and I'll make a quick note here. But Viper, tell me something.
Yeah.
By the way, Jeff, thank you for the $10 super chat. Jeff, you have an invite right now to actually be on the stream. We've invited you back to help smaller channels and to do some reviews here. So yeah, everybody who did. Yeah. So Jeff, check your DMs over in Twitter, Jeff. You've been invited. You've been summoned to the program. You've been summoned to the stage, Jeff. So
they have been summoned.
Yeah. So we need El Jefe reviews on deck to really get this going. But Viper, while I'm taking notes here on all of these channels review submissions and these generous super chats, again, rules for that in the description down below. Please read the description. While I'm doing that, Viper, let me ask you something. You've had some ups and downs with the YouTube algorithm. What are your thoughts as a small creator about how important it is to benefit from the YouTube algorithm? And if people feel they aren't, what can they do? I know this one is like touchy for you.
The YouTube algorithm. I wouldn't even think about that. But here's the thing. People think about the algorithm like it's some grand like robot. And in a way it is, but I think what's the more important thing to realize about the YouTube algorithm is that it is a measurement of human activity, of the viewer activity on your channel, your videos, whatever you're doing on YouTube. So the algorithm is a direct reflection of how people are responding to your videos. So if there's something going on with your data that you don't like, it's up to you to go look into your analytics and see what's happening. You got audience retention graph, you got average view duration, you got the view counts and all that stuff. So you can use all of this information that is simply at your fingertips in the Creator Studio to figure out what's happening with your videos, with your channel. And then you could take that information and use it to make adjustments and tailor your content better towards your target audience. But the algorithm is literally nothing more than a measurement of viewer behavior to your content. So if you think about it like that, you might have a different perspective about how the algorithm is reacting to what you're putting out on the platform.
I absolutely agree with that, Viper. I really do. Like, I think that people get very, very caught up in the YouTube algorithm. So one of the things I want to do is I want to kind of explain the YouTube algorithm to smaller creators and to smaller channels, because one of the things that happens is I don't think people understand what the algorithm is. The algorithm is actually not there to find an audience for your videos, because we are creators. So we always think that YouTube should put creators first. YouTube puts viewers first, and so should we as creators. Without viewers, none of this is possible. So viewers always come first. And when you understand that that's YouTube's stance, you also realize that you as a creator should be in line with that. Things change a little bit. So, like, do you agree with me, Viper, that the audience, the viewer, has to come first when it comes to all things YouTube, that the viewer comes first, not content creators?
Oh, absolutely. I say this all the time. Like, creators talk about how they want to make what they want to make and this, that, and the other, and then they complain when they don't get the views that they feel like they should get on their content. But what they fail to realize, as you just highlighted, is that it's all about the audience first. You have to figure out what the audience wants from you and then provide more of that, because at the end of the day, the most important relationship you have as a creator is with your audience. You have to appease the audience. It's not about what you want. It's about what the audience wants from you.
It's not even about what the algorithm wants, because again, the algorithm is hunting the audience. The algorithm is only there to do the following. It's there to give me, the viewer, what I want to watch that's going to keep me on YouTube as long as possible. When you realize that, everything else opens up. When you realize that harsh truth, Everything is on the table, Viper. Primary example. What I want to make is not always what people want to watch. Harshest truth there is to being a content creator. Harshest truth. And people have also become obsessed with subscribers. And I understand why. And subscribers matter to get your first 100 to get your channel URL, 1,000 to get monetized, and 10,000 to unlock all the features. And sure, 100,000 if you want a play button, if you want a trophy. However, I know people disagree with this. I know small YouTubers disagree with this, but you've been around, Viper. You have 5,000 subscribers. You know, subscribers do not necessarily help you get more views. They might help with the initial upload of a video, but not by much, because you and I both know, and I'm going to prove this in analytics, by the way. So I'm not just going to talk out of my butt. I'm going to show you guys real data behind a 500 subscribe channel, and then I'm going to show you some real data analytics on one of my smaller channels, and I'm going to make a point.
So yesterday, it was brought to my attention that even though I have 5,000 subscribers, only I think a handful, maybe like 2 or 3 of my last 10 videos even have 1,000 views. So yeah.
Actually, that's not a bad ratio though. You know why? PewDiePie has 100 million, more than 100 million subscribers. He hasn't cracked 5 million views on an upload in months. And that's not me ragging on PewDiePie. That's me making a point about the algorithm. The algorithm and the subscriber count, it does not matter and is not a direct correlation of your views. There are channels out there with 3 million subscribers. It does not matter. There are channels out there with millions of subscribers that don't crack 1 million views on an upload, and it's fine. Again, there are people out there ragging on YouTubers that have like 5 million subs for not breaking 500K views. PewDiePie has 100 million subscribers and doesn't crack 5 million views, but no one rags on him because he's getting over 1 million views every upload. And I'm not saying you should rag on anybody for their views. What you want to make is not always what people want to watch. Having subscribers does not matter. Guys, some of you subscribe. The ones of you watching right now are the audience that subscribed for YouTube help stuff and YouTube tips and people hoping to get a channel review. That's who's watching this video right now. That's who's live right now with us. But guess what? There's also a lot of people that aren't live with us right now because they take Sundays off and they enjoy Sundays with their family. And today's also Father's Day. So there's a lot of people not watching right now. I have no business taking that personally. Here's the thing. There are people who subscribe to me, Viper, specifically for entrepreneurship advice. There are people who subscribe to me for make money online content. There are people who subscribe to me for tutorials or video editing. In my case, I have a diverse enough audience to where there's no reason that any majority of my subscribers should be watching my videos. Also, people who subscribed to me 8 years ago, because I've been a YouTuber a very long time, there are hundreds of thousands of people who subscribed to me years ago that probably don't necessarily need my help anymore, so they shouldn't necessarily be watching because they've graduated beyond that. Mm-hmm. So you see what I'm saying? Subscribers should not be your obsession beyond one, the idea that someone who subscribed to you is a supporter. So I'm not against subscriber goals. I'm against tying any expectations to how many subscribers you have. I think outside of saying, here are the number of people who will say they stand by my content and support me, vouch for me even one time, that's fine. Pursue that goal. Expect nothing else from it in terms of any of your other stats. It has no bearing or relationship on any of your other stats. It sits there by itself, and that's it.
Not to mention the fact that YouTube doesn't even send your videos out to all your subscribers anyway.
Oh, I can prove that. I can prove that. I literally can prove that. Not only on this channel, because people can say what they want, but I have a channel with 1,000 subscribers. I have a music channel, so it has nothing to do with personality, has nothing to do with people being tired of the creator. None of that. A music channel is probably the most objective measurement of how YouTube works, to be honest. Or not even just a music channel, but like a faceless channel. But I say a music channel because there's no personality, nobody worrying about how your voice sounds. It's just nothing but a raw, real data-driven thing. There's nothing to get personally attached to a creator around a music channel. Like if it's just instrumental music, no singing, no vocals, none of that. That's why I'm saying I have a pure data-driven thing that I can use to deconstruct YouTube for you as a small YouTuber. So we're not just out here spewing anecdotes. But I want to get to these super chats. Colt Wheeler's Country Guitar, $25 super chat. Hey, Roberto, thanks for all you do for this community and everyone else trying to grow on YouTube. My channel is based around country guitar lessons and teaching folks how to break into this playing style. Thanks in advance. All right, so I think that's definitely a review. Thank you for that. appreciate you. Jeff, are you coming through?
Jeff is cooking dinner. He's not gonna be able to make it.
Oh, okay. I don't think he's going to be coming through then. I did also invite Andrew Can. I don't know if he's busy though. So I don't even think beginning creators should focus on the algorithm, by the way. I think beginning creators should really figure out
No,
a lot of other things first. I think one of the first things they should figure out is who their audience is. And I also think that beginning creators should worry more about finding their voice.
hey, there you go. I mean, I would say that's more important than even trying to figure out who their audience is. When you're first starting out on YouTube, you really shouldn't be focused on all the crazy stuff that bigger creators are focused on. When you're first starting out, you need to get comfortable in front of a camera, or if you're facing the channel, that's another matter entirely. But I think a lot of people these days are in front of the camera, so that's like job number one as a new creator. Like Roberto said, you got to find your voice, figure out what makes you most comfortable on camera, because that lends itself to the authenticity that and the connection that you will make between you and the audience and how you present your content on camera. So before you worry about subscriber count or view count or the algorithm, develop a style, develop a habit of routine of things that make you comfortable on camera. Figure out how to get better each and every time you get on camera. Like I always tell people, as long as you're better than your last video, you are winning. Don't compare yourself to your favorite creators. Don't compare yourself to your favorite creator, because that's asinine and they've been doing it for years. You've been doing it for a day. Don't do that. Just be better than your last video. The rest will take care of itself.
Pretty much. I mean, pretty much. That's what, like, again, I know people think that that's a platitude, but it's very real that you just have to focus on the craft itself. I mean, you have to think of it like, in my mind, I keep saying, think of it like a sport, right? You sit there and you have to, this is something you've never done before. Why would you be good at it? So like my weird thing is, why would anybody be good at something that they've never done before? That's a really weird expectation to have, right? The first year you've ever done something in your life, why would you be good at it? And why would you be good enough at it to expect that you're going to be wildly successful or equally successful to people who've been doing it for years and years and years when you're still a rookie? It makes no reasonable sense. You get what I'm saying? Sure. It's an unfair expectation a creator puts on themselves, is really where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
So we got Mike Thomas. Michael, what's up? Hi, Roberto and Viper. Love everything you guys do. Hope you're having a great day. We are so far. And I've been on YouTube for 6 months and I'd love a review. My subs haven't grown in a month, but my views have improved. Take care, guys. Yeah, that's another thing. So every piece of YouTube, there's like a different mechanism that is tied to it if you're trying to measure it with the analytics and think a little bit about the algorithm. Because the thing that we have to realize is that the YouTube algorithm, everybody keeps saying it's a black box, and it kind of is if you want to be very technical about it. But it has clues called YouTube analytics where they tell us what they're measuring. And if you know what they're measuring, then they tell us the secret of what is YouTube want from us. Because when people say, well, what's the YouTube like algorithm, or they want to understand the algorithm, what they're really trying to say is, what does it take to be successful on YouTube? And what does it take to get things seen? And what does it take for YouTube to start promoting my content to people? And ultimately, if we're putting our audience first and we understand who our audience is, and we also understand what's authentic to us, but we also understand out of everything that is authentic to us, and when we've learned to express ourselves, okay, but what will people watch? That's important. And sometimes you have to ask yourself, well, am I also the viewer that I'm trying to reach? Because, and how big is that audience potentially? Like, who am I trying to talk to? Because, if you go in and you look at it like anything else in life, if you look at it as a conversation you're trying to have, are you going to be able to walk up to somebody and what's your capacity to make them interested in something they don't already care about? That's very difficult to do. But if you walk up to somebody and you see that they're wearing like a Knicks jersey, you already know you can talk to them about basketball. Right. You already know a team that they support because there's a clue. So my thing is, a lot of people, they want to build an audience, but they're not even looking for a clue as to what audience they should be talking to and what they're interested and invested in. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, I get it, man. I get it.
Yeah.
Again, I think a lot of new creators are focused on too many things instead of focusing on just a few things that will help you become a better creator and making content. Because,
Or even just one thing at a time.
yeah, there you go.
One thing at a time, everybody. That's how everything in life is, one thing at a time. Skip X, $20 super chat. Your tips have been amazing and changed my perspective how I look at YouTube. Thank you so much. All right, so that's a good startup round there in the super chats. Viper, I'm gonna bring up something, and I want your opinion. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share something that people rarely see. So for me, that's gonna be this is gonna be one of my other channels here. This is my music channel. This is the Zenbuster music channel, right? Thank you, Elizabeth. Oh, and thank you, James. Appreciate you. But yeah, Viper. So this is the Zenbuster music channel. So this has 1,000 subscribers. This is a real small YouTuber like channel, and like I want to show people something super super interesting on this. So for one thing, I'm going to show you guys the lifetime analytics of this channel because it's about 6 months now. And you'll see this channel has 4,000 hours of watch time. This is going to become important later. And then on the monetization side, because this is goals for a lot of y'all, I have 3,000 hours of public watch hours. The other 1,000 that hits the 4,000 is because I'm running a 24-hour live stream. So my lifetime subscribers on this channel is my lifetime subscribers is 1,000, and my lifetime watch time is the 4,000 hours. So this is what people are shooting for, Viper. And this channel, I started uploading to this channel pretty much January of this year. So this is a new channel, because if I go 2021, you can see here, this is where I started uploading. So I started this in January. But I'm not as consistent as I might like, which plays a role here. But I want to show you something. So this channel has 1,000 subscribers. I want to show you that for all of 2021, that basically most of this channel's viewership and watch time has come from non-subscribers. And this is a 1,000 subscriber channel. This is a small channel. Most of it, non-subscribers. And this is a music channel. So music channels, there's no, oh, I'm tired of you. There's none of the things people come up with for why something does or doesn't perform. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Look at, and let's even look at the last 90 days, right? Subscribers reached by notifications. Even in the last 90 days, it's not a lot. Like, let's look at last 28 days. And I did do a recent upload. So bell notifications. Bell notifications are not doing much for us. And again, ratios here. So let's look at something super interesting. I'm going to take you to a video because here's the like punchline. This channel has 1,000 subscribers. People think subscribers matter so much, right? Here's the punchline, Viper. What if I told you, let's sort by views. What if I told you, looking at the views here, this channel has 1,000 subscribers. There are videos on this channel that have over 1,000 views. So you have to be able to reach beyond your subscribers. There's a video here that the YouTube algorithm picked up that has almost 14,000 views, Viper. It's responsible for like a fourth of the watch time on this channel or something crazy like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that this is dependent on how many subscribers I have. So what happened? Well, this shows you YouTube promoting a video, and you can see it has nothing to do with subscribers. In this case, it came from suggested videos, so it matched it to other content based on what people were listening to in the music genre, okay? And see, YouTube is telling us the secret here. YouTube cares about watch time more than it cares about anything else. It cares about watch time more than it cares about anything else. To get watch time, we have to get people to click on a video, so it measures our click-through rate, right? And it's distributing our video. The only time you know that YouTube isn't pushing your content is if you do this toggle that I'm doing here, and if you look at impressions, and then when you're not getting impressions, that's when YouTube isn't really helping your video, is when you're not getting impressions. But you'll notice something. YouTube on its own is finding times to give this video more impressions without me really doing anything. So that's how it's figuring that out. It's figuring this out based on user behavior, based on what other people are watching and things like that. Subscribership has not helped this video in any meaningful way. And then it cares about your average view duration, because when you combine click-through rate and average view duration, that's how you get watch time. How long are people watching your video? So this tells you everything you have to do, Viper. This tells you that YouTube will find and kind of match you like Tinder or Bumble or like a dating website to whoever it thinks cares about a video. Not necessarily people who care about you, because it doesn't care about your who subscribed to what. It cares about what people are watching. So again, it doesn't matter if people subscribe to you. All that matters is, what are people willing to give their time to? What are people willing to watch, and how long do they watch it? That's all that matters. YouTube will then base who it puts your video in front of based on their previous behavior on YouTube, their watch history. So understanding your audience is all powerful, because if you understand what they've already been watching, and you make content that says, gee, I already know you care about basketball. I already know you care about Apple. I already know you care about YouTube tips. I already know you watch Mckinnon or Mr. B. I already know what you care about. YouTube will say, I will give someone more of what they care about. So I will give them what they're likely to watch.
So let's put this into practical application. Anybody that's in this audience right now, the last time you went to youtube.com or you went to YouTube on your phone and you clicked on a video, if you watched a good chunk of the video, or even maybe a minute of the video, what happens after you watch the video? The algorithm automatically populates with videos that it thinks you might watch next or might want to watch next. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter if you're on YouTube, signed up to YouTube or not. If you watch a particular video and you watched a good amount of that video, you're going to get a whole bunch of videos in the suggested feed under that video of videos that the YouTube algorithm thinks that you're going to watch. Now, this comes into play as a creator, because inside of the creator studio, we actually have access to this information like Roberto just alluded to. We can actually go into the creator studio and see what other videos our audience is watching. Hell, we can even see what channels, other channels our audience is watching.
Facts.
So when you
look,
take
it's
that
telling me.
Yeah,
it's straight up telling me.
It's telling you what's going on. So when you take that information into consideration, then you can kind of formulate a content strategy around what your audience is already watching. Because like Roberto said, you know they're interested in the content because they've been watching it already. So if you can make content around stuff that they're already watching, there you go.
For me, it's looking at these other music channels and then looking at how they do their thumbnails, Viper. I can go and see where all my traffic was coming from, what else people clicked and were watching, and then I can see, oh, this is the type of sound that they vibe with, and then also these are the thumbnails that they'll click on, because I got to get people to click on thumbnails. That's the real answer. Is I had to get people clicking on these thumbnails, and again, the what people click on, again, when they're given the opportunity, these things can be, look, there's one point in April where there was like a 26% click-through rate, then there's a 7, then there's a 0, then there's a, see what I'm saying? This is not, oh, it is like what it is in a consistency. This is literally showing you that YouTube keeps trying and testing and hunting. And so also this tells you, do not be discouraged about what happens in the early lifespan of a video. Look at this, Viper. Like, you see what I'm saying? Do not necessarily always be discouraged by the early lifespan of a video, because look at where like things change. Look at like these ebbs and flows here, you know? And for all I know, something could happen and then this spikes up again. It happens. Like my biggest video with 1 million views got most of it after 6 months.
So let's go back to what you just said. You just said, don't worry about the early view cycle of a video. I'll give you guys a perfect example. I am a tech content creator. Most of my videos are about Apple. If I make a video right now talking about iOS 15, it'll get a few views, but it won't get that many. Watch what happens if you keep an eye. If I keep an eye on that, I can't talk. If I keep an eye on that same video and look at the analytics come September, it'll be completely different from what it is right now. Because guess what happens in September, you all? The public release of iOS 15. When people are rushing to YouTube to figure out what iOS 15 and bring it to the table and how they can get the most out of it. So if I make an iOS 15 video right now, it's not going to do much. But when September hit, people are going to be coming to that video, and the views are going to go up. So when Roberto says, "Don't worry about how video is performing initially," that's what we're talking about. Based on the timing, the whole video outlook can change based on timing.
And I want to bring up another thing, because this is a music channel, which means, again, there's no me interjecting into this, and there's nothing to derive from that. So we have objective data. 97%, more than 97% of the viewership of this and watch time of this came from non-subscribers, Viper. This is 13,000 plus views, almost 14,000 plus views on a 1,000 subscriber channel, with 97, almost 98% of it non-subscribers. So again, I understand why people are trying to get subscribers. You're trying to get to a silver or gold play button. You're trying to get monetized. You're trying to get this feature. You're trying to get that feature. I understand, but viewership is what you get paid for in YouTube if you're trying to do that, if you're trying to get some money. And even attention, subscribers will not get it to you. And so, by the way, any of you trying to do sub for sub or trying to buy subscribers, look at this. It objectively doesn't matter. The data doesn't lie. And this video, you could say, well, that's an outlier video, Roberto, because like nothing else on this channel has 13,000. But look at this one with 2,000. This is a similar thing. First of all, really good average view duration, even though this is like an hour loop. It's music, so like take that with a grain of salt. But even with this, most of the traffic came from suggested videos. This is YouTube promoting the video. And then in terms of the audience, again, 78% from non-subscribers. That's crazy. That's crazy. And remember, this is a music channel, and this is a thing. So like, and then the reach. Let's look at lifetime reach with this. This is the secret right here. Is you once you start to understand this, because again, it's impressions. It's all right, how much is YouTube serving this video? How many opportunities did I get? And then the click-through rates. And you see the click-through rates go up and up and up, down and down, down, but it's relative to the impressions. So again, people are getting served this music, because again, it's music. So there's nothing else to judge, you know? It's just a matter of, will I click on this and then am I feeling it? That's it. So largely the thumbnail plays a role here. It's music, so the title doesn't matter beyond the genre of music being lo-fi, and that's and the fact that it's copyright free, and that's it. So everything else basically came down to, and then it didn't even necessarily drive subscribers. It drove 16 subscribers. But everything else about this is just objective data of telling us how the YouTube algorithm works. That's the real secret here. This also tells us there's other traffic sources. So if you can't rely on the YouTube algorithm and you're not getting hit up by suggested videos, or it's not finding that audience for you, your best bet is either to push the content yourself by promoting it to external sources and other social media, share it, and get other people to share it, make shareable content, or make search-friendly content, because your only options outside of that is then making sure that you've set your content up and optimized it in some kind of way to where if YouTube puts it in front of somebody, it's putting it in front of the right person. You don't want it to just put your thing in front of anybody, because it doesn't help you if they don't click on it. Which is the other problem. People just want their videos to get hit up by anybody, but if people dip out of that video, it doesn't help you.
Yep.
Because YouTube showed us. YouTube showed us that what it cares about is watch time. That's why it's at the bottom of this funnel. The top thing is impressions. That's opportunity. The watch time is the outcome, and that's the outcome YouTube is seeking from us. YouTube, what YouTube and YouTube's algorithm wants from us, Viper, is it wants us to keep people on YouTube. That's it. It wants us to keep people on YouTube, and it wants us to make what people are willing to watch, which means we have to get their click. We have to get their click. And we do that based on what they will give their attention to. So that's not a matter of quality just yet, is it, Viper?
No.
It's about interest and attention. So that comes down to, you better know your audience. You better know the culture of your audience, because you can't get the click any other way, right?
Yep. Yeah, do your
so
research.
Like,
do your research, baby.
It's all about that, man. It's all about, so like, I mean, in a nutshell, do you feel like that kind of like breaks down like the algorithm for anybody that's confused about things? Is that we got to get their, we got to get their click, And to do that, we got to know what they care about. And we probably shouldn't assume it's us. Probably shouldn't assume it's us. You get what I'm saying?
The sad thing is that we say all this stuff, but people will still hone in on the vanity metrics and not pay attention to what we're saying. But what we're saying is literal gold. If you just pay attention to your analytics and pay attention to what's happening around you in your face, that is how you get views on YouTube. You just got to pay attention to what's going on.
You got to get that topic right because you got to know your audience. You got to get a title that says, "Hey, that's for me. That's for me." You got to get a thumbnail that gets their attention. So the title is about what am I interested in, and the thumbnail is about what is my attention. That's how we communicate the topic. So your title and your thumbnail communicate what the topic is about. Also, understand your audience is about timing the market. It's about timing. So it's topic, title, thumbnail, timing, right? After that, that's when we get into quality and quantity, and you need both of them. You need your quality because if nothing else, quality is a good reason to share a video, Viper. Like feeling that quality is a good reason to share a video, if nothing else. The other thing is quality represents what you can offer and value to brands a lot of time, and then quality will get people talking about you. And so that's also good for your reputation. So quality content does matter. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I'm telling you that that's not what gets you clicks from a random person who doesn't know who you are because they've never seen your quality. They don't know. They don't know. It's just like a stranger. A stranger doesn't know you. But what they can do is they can take a glance at you, look you up and down, and like they're going to make a judgment call. And you got to know that that's how the YouTube game is too. They're going to take a glance and be like, and they're going to swipe left or swipe right. Like, AKA they're going to click or they're not going to click. Then you got to hold that attention. You get that attention, you got to hold it. That's average view duration. That's finishing a video. That's watching another video. And that's where quantity matters because remember what we said. The more content somebody watches from you, the more likely you're going to get impressions and show up on their YouTube homepage and on that sidebar when they watch other videos. That's where your suggested is going to come from. That's where your homepage views are going to come down. And that's where all the views are. So you got to understand that viewer behavior runs this whole platform.
Literally.
Yeah. We got All Access Construction out here. Put some work in since last audit in February. Tell me what you think. Been following since near day one. All right. Appreciate you. So we're going to put you in the queue here. But Viper, what you got for me?
What does Viper have for you? I mean,
I know you got some thoughts.
I mean, listen, we have been doing these live streams since 2020. Okay. This is not our first rodeo. We have come on this channel multiple times over and dropped the goods to you all over and over and over again. But I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell the people in Clubhouse and things like that. It's not enough to just listen to what we're saying. At the end of the day, you have to go to your channel and execute on the things that you learned from these live streams. Because if you don't do nothing but listen to what we say, then we're not really helping you. Well, you're not helping yourself, really, because you're not executing on what you've learned. So it's more than just listening to me and Roberto tell you about the YouTube algorithm and about views and all this other jazz. You got to put in the work. You got to go to your channel and figure out what's working for you, what's happening around your niche, what's happening with your target audience, and then go make the content that will bring your target audience in. You got to go put in the work. It doesn't matter what anybody says. It doesn't matter what Roberto says. It doesn't matter what Viper says. It doesn't matter what Nick Nimitz says. It doesn't matter what Daryl E says. It doesn't matter what anybody says. If you yourself, you creator, don't go out there and put in the work to see the result, nothing matters because the work is all that matters. You got to go put in the work.
Indeed. It really does. And by the way, understand that it's not a matter of doing it right or doing it wrong. It's a matter of how effective you're doing it. Because by the way, just knowing all of this isn't enough because even I can still ultimately like not execute perfectly. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Sometimes you're doing what you want to do and you say, okay, screw it, because you want to do what you want to do. But what you have to do is if you are going to do that, you just accept that maybe you're going to get less views. And that's perfectly fine. Viper, you're going through a cycle of that right now.
Something like that. Yeah.
Retro Completionist said, just wanted to say thank you for advice. When you looked at my channel, I took all your advice, changed everything up. How do you recommend I should thank you for everything? Look, you just did, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate the super chat. And you know, just knowing that it's making a difference and that you're moving in the right direction, that feels great to me.
So somebody in the chat said obviously Viper, and you can say obviously Viper, but you'd be surprised how many people will just keep coming back and listening to this stuff and not do anything for whatever reason.
The majority.
Right. And then some of y'all got analysis paralysis. Like y'all want to analyze every single solitary thing that could go wrong instead of just getting out there and putting out the content, because a lot of this is on the job training, meaning that it doesn't matter what me and Roberto say. You have to go in there and learn this stuff for yourself. You have to go into your analytics and figure out what's happening on your channel and why it's happening and what you can do to change that. We can't teach you guys. You have to go in there and do that yourself. You have to figure that out yourself. We can guide you. We can kind of help you along the way. But ultimately, YouTube is literally on the job training. You got to go out there and figure it out. Nobody's going to do that for you but you.
Indeed. I'm going to see if Roger wants to join us.
Ooh.
Roger.
Oh,
Roger was a small YouTuber not that
long ago. You got to get Roger in here, man. Roger.
Yeah, I'm dropping you the link in Twitter, Roger.
Bruh. Y'all need to rock with Roger. Roger owns an entire, like, it takes a certain.
He was a small YouTuber not too long ago.
To own an entire niche on YouTube. The man owns an entire niche on YouTube. It's crazy.
He's the market leader in his niche.
Man, it's whoo. Roger Wayfield's a beast.
Yeah, no, if we can get Roger in here.
Bro, how the hell do you own an entire niche, bro?
Like, no one believed he could do it, you know. That's the other weird thing. That's the other weird thing.
Yeah, Shelly, your boy got the yellow on today.
What Chef? Hey guys, would be great to review and watch a review of What Chef channel. Been at this since 2014, still haven't hit 1,000. Roberto, your advice has always been great. Yeah, sometimes, by the way, you know, look, sometimes it will be like that and it'll feel like that. Sometimes it will come down to, you could be doing this for a very long time, because the thing is, a lot of people get discouraged, Viper, because they've been doing YouTube for X amount of time and other people might have more views or more subs or feel like they're making more progress and be like, okay, we're all doing the work. Why am I getting a different? It must be luck. And it's like, I'm not saying what the chef is saying that, by the way, at all. But I will say that there are people who feel like that. And it's not down to luck. It's down to, we literally aren't all doing the same thing. We're not doing the same niche. We're not doing the same channel. We're not doing the same execution. We're not doing the same things. Period. It's no different than, you could sit there, think about it. How many of us all went to like the same school or whatever? We all didn't get the same grades. Now, did we? We all didn't get the same outcomes in life. Now, did we? So it doesn't matter if you think that. What comes down to a lot of things is, again, your individual effectiveness. And again, sometimes it comes down to, are you making what people want to watch, or are you making content for you? Because the people who grow on YouTube, they are actively making content for an audience more than they are for themselves.
So let your boy Viper step in here for a minute. So comparison is the death of joy. You want to talk about watching people pass you by, people that have been on the platform for less time than you, and they pass you by. You welcome to the life of Viper. For 3.5 years, I've watched people blow by me on YouTube, and I know I put in the work, and I've always wondered, like, what the hell's going on? Now, me and Roberto kind of figured out that there's some special circumstances going on with my channel, so I'm not going to get into all that, but you will literally watch people blow by you on YouTube as far as sub and view count. That doesn't matter. Like, that has nothing to do with your journey. You are on your own journey. We all like move at our own different speeds on YouTube. There's no set like a handbook to get like the maximum amount of views and stuff. Like, there's no magic potion. There's no overnight success pill that you could take to make your channel blow up. It's just you putting in the work. It might be where it's a situation where if you have been on YouTube for a particular amount of time and you're feeling like you're not getting the desired success on YouTube, guess what? There are other platforms out there that you can try and lend your talent.
Did you know that and I know it's not going to be everybody's favorite person or whatever, but I'll use like Logan Paul as an example. Logan and Jake Paul were small YouTubers when they were teenagers, and they were failed YouTubers. They didn't get anywhere with it, but you know what they did was they experimented with a new platform at the time called Vine. Vine was the new thing. And the thing is, they went to Vine, they succeeded in connecting with an audience, breaking out, getting attention. They were young, they were teenagers when they did this. They built massive audiences, and what happened? They moved those audiences to YouTube. Same thing for David Dobrik and all of the other Viners. You know, whatever you think of these people, you can't ignore the fact that they all, as teenagers, obviously tried YouTube and it didn't work. Then they went to another platform and they got big there. And then once they had a name for themselves coming to YouTube, there was expectation, there was a desire for whatever they wanted to make at that point. Sometimes that is ultimately the answer for people. There are people right now who are quote unquote unsuccessful YouTubers that have gone to Clubhouse and have become people's favorite Clubhouse host. There are people who YouTube wasn't working. They went and they built a podcast that was an audio podcast, and then they built an audience that demanded that they come to YouTube and do a video podcast. There are people now, TikTokers, that are crushing it and now coming to YouTube, and even some of them doing YouTube shorts, and it's working. Sometimes you have to look at where you can be most effective, build demand, reach an audience, and then that audience will follow you anywhere. And then you have something to work with.
Yeah. And
because again, just remember that every one of these algorithms is hunting the audience, you know? It's not hunting the creators.
I love the way you highlight how you can come back to the platform that you're not getting the success on initially. I'm not telling you guys that you should give up on YouTube. I'm just saying that there are other options out there that you can try your hand at if you want to build an audience and things like that. You can always stick with YouTube. I mean, I'm on different platforms. I'm not quitting on YouTube, but
if you can outpace your growth in another platform faster, it can accelerate YouTube.
Yes.
Because then you have demand. When you start YouTube from nothing, there's no demand for you. There's demand for whatever niche you might be in, but then you're also competing in that niche and you're starting from zero against people who've already been there, which is not impossible, but it is an uphill battle and it's difficult, like anything else in life. However, if you can create an unfair advantage by starting elsewhere and being successful, because by the way, a lot of successful YouTubers had an unfair advantage somewhere else in life before they came to YouTube, and that is why they won. If you're trying to come to YouTube and you have no unfair advantage, aka other life skills and experience, Peter McKinnon, of course he was a quote unquote overnight success in YouTube. He was a skilled photographer and cinematographer and storyteller making a company a crap ton of money. He also was really good at up close magic. You want to talk about pressure? You want to talk about confronting the potential for embarrassment? If you mess up an upfront magic trick in the streets, you're done. So someone with that level of confidence, charisma, talent, and skill coming to YouTube has an unfair advantage because he didn't have to learn how to use a camera. He didn't have to learn how to be confident. He didn't have to learn a lot of things. He came to YouTube at about 30 years old with more than a decade of skill, more than 15 years of holding a camera in his hand. That makes sense.
Can you please repeat that last part? How long had Peter been making, taking pictures and things before he came to YouTube? How long?
15 years.
15 years. So when you think about Peter McKinnon, the overnight YouTube success, think about Peter McKinnon, the guy who had a camera in his hand for 15 years before he came to YouTube. Again, there is no such thing as the overnight success. There is simply the work. What happened with Peter McKinnon on YouTube is that he had been working as a photographer for so long that when he came on YouTube, what happens is what some of y'all will call luck, or what I would call preparation meeting opportunity. He was prepared. 15 years of preparation went into getting his shot to be on YouTube. And then when the opportunity came, when he got on YouTube to showcase his skill, boom, he blew up because, again, he had 15 years of experience to the back before he got on YouTube. And now he is the Peter McKinnon that you know and love today.
Exactly. And this is the thing that I think gets taken for granted, Viper, is I think what gets taken for granted is all these things. Ali Abdal. And again, this is maybe not the case for every single YouTuber. Let's look at Janelle, the van life girl. Like, okay, who launches their YouTube channel with a $30,000 investment? Because by the way, how much do you think that it took her to buy and trick out that van? Plus, she basically spent 2 years in preparation of that because she bought a van, tricked it out, and then on top of that, she lived in a year before she ever came onto YouTube. So there's, you know what I'm saying? So like, okay, 2 years of prep and a $30,000 investment. Scotty from Strange Parts spent, I think, 6 months before he made his first YouTube video because he had to hunt down all the parts in China to make a custom iPhone from scratch and launch his channel with a viral video. And he had to learn how to make videos along the way, like, and learn the entire process. not everyone has the advantage of pre-pandemic being access to China, the manufacturers, this knowledge and skills that like no, it was unique who could do that. Mark Rober, NASA engineer, comes to YouTube with all of his skills and his bag of tricks to make weird things that no one can compete with. You get what I'm saying? There is an unfair advantage that people have if they're going to succeed at a speed that is that insanely uncommon. You get what I'm saying?
My only question is it really unfair if they put in the years of training and work to get
it's just called an unfair advantage because it's what it really should be called is an uncommon advantage. But people say it's unfair because they don't have it. I'm just using the popular phrasing of that. Like because the expectation that life should be fair in the first place is ridiculous to me. Like, when has that ever been true? Like, what version of the universe have you been living in?
Yeah, I remember that, Shelly. Peter Mckinnon, when he was at VidSummit 3 years ago, he talked about his overnight story. And yeah, he said people moved the 10 years before, the night before. Yep.
Yeah, it's largely the case. It's largely the case for a lot of people. And so that's why also sometimes I know that everyone's obsessed with this notion of luck, and I know that a lot of humble people like to say luck, but I don't really believe in it because opportunity, we've talked about this. Opportunity is meaningless without action. Opportunity, you can talk about what about these people getting this opportunity? If you don't pull the trigger, if you don't do anything about it, it doesn't matter. If I literally pluck your soulmate out of the universe and put them in front of you and you don't shoot your shot, I wasted my time giving you all the luck in the universe, didn't I? If I literally pluck your soulmate out of whatever era in time and you don't shoot your shot, it don't matter. All the luck, all the blessings of the universe have been wasted on you. Wasted.
Preach.
It's like it's a straight up fact, man. Like, I mean, so whatever people want to say, I understand that there are elements outside of your control. I understand serendipity, and I believe in that. I also just feel like your own action is usually ultimately the way you react to things. You may not control what happens, but you do control how you respond to it. And I just believe that your response matters a lot more than being given the opportunity, because you could still, opportunity is not a guarantee of an outcome. It's just an opportunity. You can screw it up. You can fail. We've all been given the same platform as the most successful people in the world now. It doesn't necessarily mean we will get what they get. By the way, I'm stalling here, by the way, because what I'm doing is I'm plugging all of your channel review super chats. I'm plugging you into the thing, plugging you into the queue so that I can do them, and I'm gonna try to do them in order. I can't promise they will be in order, so I just need anyone who super chatted and followed the rules. I just need anybody to be super patient, because what I'm doing, it just takes me a long time to plug these in.
Somebody called 911, tell them we got a fire in hot lantern that needs to be put out, or maybe it doesn't need to be put out.
Throw some gas on it. You can throw some gas on it.
No doubt. Woo, y'all,
yeah,
real tonight. This is the real talk. This is the talk that the other people won't tell you. They won't tell you. So.
For whatever reason, and that's fine. And this, like, no shade, no tea. I'm just saying that the only thing I understand as someone who didn't necessarily have advantages that were unearned in any way, like, for those of you who know my background, you know my story, you know that I really didn't have any particular unearned advantage. It's just that I see people get so easily discouraged by things that don't have anything to do with them, and they use it as a way of not taking responsibility for the things they absolutely do have a say in. And it breaks my heart, because if you focus on what is in your control, then you can get a lot further than if you don't.
So let's take this practically, and you put this into a practical application. You cannot, I don't care what has happened on the platform with anybody else, but anybody that's listening to the sound of my voice or watching this live stream right now, you cannot control how many people subscribe to your YouTube channel. It is completely out of your control. What you can control is how many times a week you upload videos. how much content you put out in a monthly basis. That is what you can control.
And the quality of the content you're putting out.
And the quality of the content. You got to stop worrying about what you can't control and worry more about what you can control. Because when you worry about what you can control, the other stuff kind of falls into place.
Yeah, I mean, Ali Abdal is almost at 2 million subscribers. He didn't start out with perfect YouTube content, you know, and that's the other thing. People keep trying to start perfect instead of just starting.
Oh man, perfection.
It's more important.
Perfection is gonna be the lie. It's a lie, y'all.
It's more important to start than to start perfect. I didn't start perfect. I could make a very good argument for all the reasons I didn't have the personality to be a YouTuber as well.
Man, if you waiting for perfection on YouTube or a perfect time to do stuff on YouTube, you're gonna be waiting a long time.
It will never come.
It never happens. Not happening.
It will never come. Like if you wait for perfect, it'll never come. I mean, it's just again, if I pluck your soulmate from all of space and time and like you decide, oh, I got to double back and I got to do everything perfect before I approach them and everything like that, I done thrown them back into the time they came from because you should have shot your shot right then and there. Like, you know, that's how it is. Missed out. That's how it is.
Yo, Elizabeth, stop it, Elizabeth. It's a lie. Perfection is a lie. Stop trying to be perfect. There is no such thing as perfect. Just put it out there. It's a lie, Elizabeth. It's a lie.
Yeah.
Listen, I have uploaded over 500 videos to YouTube over the past 3.5 years.
Sheesh.
I have never, not once, had a perfect video. There has not been one video I've uploaded where I have not made a single mistake, not flubbed a single word or anything. Every video.
For anyone who wants to dunk on you, you do have videos that have over 10,000 views. So you have more views on certain videos than you had subscribers. So for anyone wanting to dunk on you because you're a small YouTuber, which nobody should be, because if you're a small YouTuber, I mean, what are you doing?
Tell them, Shelly, perfection is a lie. There's no such thing as perfect. Perfection is like an illusion. It's a mirage. Stop trying to be perfect and just be you. Being you is more important than being perfect. Remember. Yeah.
Shelly, do you want to come on? I wasn't able to get Jeff or Roger. I mean, Shelly, do you want to come on? I mean, we're going to get to these reviews, by the way. I'm plugging away. Achilles, what am I doing again? But yeah. Michael Thomas, I might need you to... Oh, I think it was my autofocus. I think it's just that sometimes if I'm leaning down, my hat will get picked up by the focus, and I'm wearing glasses, so it also... the autofocus hunts a little bit, so it is what it is. Michael Thomas, I'm having trouble finding your YouTube channel. Can you DM me the URL over in Twitter? My Twitter is @RobertoBlake. I just need you to DM me the URL because I can't find your channel in search, which is maybe also a problem on your side that might be hurting you. So I need you to do that.
All right, brother, you need to drop the link to Shelly.
All right, Shelly wants to come on.
She can come in for a few.
Okay. Actually, Viper, can you drop her the link?
Can I? Yeah, I think I can.
Yeah, you can give her the invite link through DMs, the one I gave you.
That's right.
Just, copy and paste, please. Thank you.
I can do it.
Yeah.
Where copy?
Because, thank you, by the way, for everybody being super generous with these super chats. It is appreciated, and it does actually help, believe it or not. We're trying to do some things. Eventually, we want to get you clips of the live stream. So that's going to be outsourced because I can't do everything because that's a bad idea. Roberto ain't got time for that. But
you are in the building.
All right. Sherry Amore, thank you for this content. I'm just going to put it out there. My channel name is Sherry Albright. Okay, cool. Sherry, by the way, we are doing reviews based on the rules and stuff down in the comments. So if you were hoping for a review, there's a way to do it in the description that is specific. I also think we have enough. I think we have enough stuff for the reviews. So I'm going to run this ticker that reviews are now closed because I think we have enough reviews, unless after I get through all these, like maybe we'll do like 2 or 3 more, but we have a lot of them here to do. So let's see. Shelly, whenever you are ready, we're ready for you.
We're just getting some link kinks ironed out here.
Oh, really? The link isn't working for her?
Well, not the one that I gave her initially, but I think I must have gave her the wrong one. All right, hopefully that one worked.
Oh, okay. Maybe you gave her the last week's one or something.
But that one should work. Should be good.
Okay. Sherry, we're going to go ahead and do yours just because you generously did another super chat. So we will do yours. So thank you for that. What was her channel name? Cheryl Albright. Shelly can help us with some of these reviews as well.
Hey, y'all better be ready for Shelly though, because she is no nonsense.
Oh, Shelly's gonna cut y'all.
Cut y'all deep.
Sherry Amore, is your Cheryl Albright channel? Does it have 32 videos, and is it Cheryl Albright, playwright, performer, singer, all that jazz? Like, let me know in the chat if that's correct, so that I know that I have the right channel. Yes. Okay, so then this is the right channel. Okay. All right, so yeah, so that's it for the super chats. Welcome our homie to the stream.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
How's it going, Shelly?
Shelly. Wait. Why can't I hear her? I can't hear her.
Oh, we can't hear you. Shelly, we can't hear you.
Ooh.
How about now?
There we go.
Now we can hear you.
Rolling with the homies.
Here.
How you guys doing?
We're doing all right.
Good.
All right, y'all. For real though, like reviews are closed now because I don't know that I'm gonna be able to keep up with them if we keep going.
Oh, I see how it is, Shelly. You say the crispy Wi-Fi for Roberto streams. Okay, I see how it is.
No, not even. Actually, what's funny about that is 10 minutes ago, I was still offline. So I don't know. There's something going on with Comcast. They keep continuously trying to
you just said the
it.
magic words. You said the magic words right there, Comcast.
Yeah.
I said it. Yeah, I said what I said.
Yep.
I said what I said, Shelly.
What?
How's your Sunday going?
Oh, it's going well, thank you. We went out to breakfast this morning at the Original Pancake House. I don't know if that's a chain where y'all are at, but so good. I love that place.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good Sunday.
And happy Father's Day to anyone out there who is celebrating that. Appreciate all of the dads out there.
Indeed. Now, keep in mind, guys, part of the way the channel review stuff that we're going to do is going to work is we're going to be looking at your stuff. We're not going to be like digging super into the videos and your production and your editing and some of those things. We're going to be doing a lot of this as briefly as we can at a glance and like really looking more at like the health of your channel and getting a sense of that kind of thing. And we're going to look at things like your titles, your thumbnails, your branding, your consistency. We're going to look at those things because also it's what a viewer is going to see when they even decide if they're even going to watch anything. So just understand that these are going to be short and sweet because, we have a limited amount of time and we want to also make this as useful to the viewing audience as possible. So just keep all those things in mind. And here we go. So at a glance, guys, first impressions on this animation channel.
I like it.
I like the art style. I think the thumbnails are super interesting. I do like that they put when they are posting, but it looks like it's an art stream channel, which means it's leaning on live streams, which is a little difficult, I think, kind of starting your channel with live streams and long form content when people don't know who you are. What do you think, Shelly?
I agree with that. I mean, it's difficult to know if you want to invest an hour or 2 hours into someone when, I mean, it's like you don't walk up to someone and be like, hey, should we go get married now? And you're like, hey, maybe we could have some frozen yogurt or go to Starbucks first. It's, I mean, you're really asking them into a long-term relationship at the very jump. So it's interesting. And I get that live streaming is a way to build up hours and it's just interactive. But for me too, unless you're going to also be talking to me a lot through that live stream. Live streams are a really great way to build and strengthen community, but maybe not always to gain it. So it's just an interesting play for starting out your channel that way.
I agree. I also can't tell if this is a original character. If it's original character, it's much harder, I think, to also do animation off of the original characters. It's not impossible, but the thing is, if it's a animation stream and it's also,
Brand new
looking,
characters
yeah,
instead
it's
of nostalgia of like Rugrats or something that people know.
exactly, or even pop culture, and then it also looks like it's now also gaming at the same time, which again, I think it ends up mixing genres. And again, if this is something done for expression, I'm fine with people doing things to express themselves or their art, or if they want to showcase their stuff. But I also think that you have to be realistic about what expectations you have of gaining a audience. But here's the other cool thing, though. Here's what I am impressed with. First of all, I think this person has more artistic talent and ability than I did. And I actually wanted to be an animator when I was a kid. Even into young adulthood, I wanted to be, you know, and Phil is saying it's an art channel and gaming channel. If you want it to be both for now, do you? I'm just going to tell you that as a viewer, I don't think as a viewer I'm going to commit to an art and a gaming channel, because I think that a viewer can really only realistically commit in their head to, I only want one of those things, which means when you're mixing those two different things, at least early on, the problem is I don't know what I'm getting, and then that makes it very hard to click on videos, especially when they're so long. So you're creating barriers, I think, to new viewership and adoption. But here's what I will say is in your favor, because I could also be wrong, by the way. I could also be wrong.
It's
I think
happened once a year, just once.
What I like is impressive is that Phil here has been massively consistent, which is the thing I always applaud. And they're being consistent at something with a very high level of difficulty. They also have, I believe, artistic talent and ability. And I think what they're doing is interesting and quirky. And I'm always a fan of that. I also think that for doing everything that is outside of best practices, the fact that in a month's time, with being consistent, they've managed to get 232 subscribers, I find that to personally be impressive. A lot of other people wouldn't be impressed with that, but I am, because it's hard to get 100 subscribers, period. It's hard to get 100 subscribers when you're doing two different completely polarized things that have no real relationship to each other. And it's also hard to do when you're doing animation stuff and you're doing it around an original character. So for all of the outlier weirdness that is going on here, I think it has some interesting potential. And I think it is an attempt at doing something differently. And the thing is, I would measure its success by conventional YouTube metrics. I think that if the goal here is to do your art and build community, and if you're experimenting and you like doing both this and the gaming, I don't think long term that that's a strategy personally, because I think those things, if you look at VTubers and people that have animated character channels, even if they're not doing animation, but if you look at people like Andre Turbia, if you look at a VTuber named Nuxtaku, if you look what they're doing, like, it's really smart to split off some things. And yes, Waifu Theory has a point. There is a channel that does this called Vanamelon. But the thing is, those things are largely outliers. Like, those things are, yeah, but you could be an outlier. I don't know.
I think you need to keep in mind that you're banking on two different spheres. You know, a lot of people that like art and a lot of people that like video games. And you're hoping that the intersect between the two is actually going to be a lot, but it may not be as big as you think, especially when you then throw in unique original art. So if you were really going to go after an art/gaming channel, then I would go after like Grand Theft Auto and all of the characters in Grand Theft Auto and making them original art pieces, or, you know, doing different scenes. Or I would pick a game and I would do animations for that one for a while, because you're taking now these three wildly almost variant things and hoping that you can find some little bit of space in the middle, which is hard when no one knows you. So now you've got video games, you've got original art, and you've got you know, all of this all wrapped into a live stream. So that's a lot to ask of people who have
And
no
it's
idea who
so
you are.
long. Yeah, and it's so
Yeah.
long.
It's just
So the
so much.
replay value is also difficult. What I will say though is another angle is to combine original character art with commentary.
I would do shorts actually also of your finished art and
Yes.
put those out and say something cool either about your art or the game or something, and then invite people to also be able to catch the entire live stream, because that's a lot of time to invest in people and they just want to see the before and after.
Animation lends itself to short form anyway. That's early YouTube, and now we have YouTube Shorts. And I believe partly YouTube Shorts was actually even made with the animation community in mind, to be very honest with you. So I could see that working out really well. That's a really good suggestion, Shelly. I might not have even brought that up. So good on you. So yeah, like someone in the comments says, it's a lot to ask. And so again, I'm not telling you to not do this. Because like I said, I'm impressed with the fact that you've gotten as far as you have pursuing it. And it looks like, I mean, if I sort by your most popular, it looks like you've managed to build community, which is ultimately the goal of any content creator. And you've managed even 5 days ago to get 200 plays on a stream. And the thing is, I like what's going on here when I peek at it, when I do the preview. So like, I could see a path. I could see a path for you, but I'd like to just like look at where you are 6 months from now, because I think it's also too early.
I like what you said about Andre, though, because if you remember a lot of his story times with one, he had introduced a character that was very common, which was the duck, you know, even made merch on it. But then he was also telling these stories about, you know, like why I refused to work with Kylie Jenner or why I whatever. So even if you were to be that person who does the Reddit stories, like am I the asshole or whatever else type of things while you're doing art as like a voiceover, at least if someone also isn't caring that much about the art, the story was still interesting. Like, why don't you want to work with Kylie Jenner? What was going on with that? And then, oh, I was entertained by some art. Oh, and they threw in a fun character. And so there's a couple layers there, especially when you're newer. I feel like that's a really good example of he was able to weave in storytelling and art and animation and, you know, character development throughout. So I would go with something kind of consistent like that. I don't know what you're talking about during your streams, but looking at that as well.
Exactly. So let's look at LLN Carolinas. So LLN Carolinas, let's see. Your banner is interesting, but some of it's hard to read, but I also don't know what the channel is about if I come to it. So that's part of the issues here. So if I have to go to the about section, it's part of news team of professional stringers, news camera men, first to capture breaking news. Okay, so dope. And I get what you're trying to do. Your banner needs to be more clear so that I don't have to go to your about section to start to understand that. And you're doing kind of a news channel and you're capturing these highlights and things going on. So I like, all right, totally get it. I would say the biggest issue, because I don't even have a problem with these thumbnails because it is what it is. And this is news, breaking news at that. I think you have to get much better at writing headlines. If I look at your most popular videos, the views are like, because I don't even know how many subscribers you have. You're hiding a subscriber count right now. But here's the thing. The things that got the most views, regardless of what, because this is always going to be contingent on, I mean, this is actually a good example of data, by the way, for all of you. This is also a good example of the fact that likes to dislikes could be not related to how good a video is, which is why I hate them, is because it doesn't necessarily mean what it means. Because look at on news, it's just that some of these things are horrible things. People are disliking it not because it's a bad video. They're disliking it because it's all bad news. You know, it's tragic. It's horrible. It's like they aren't liking it is like, oh, like good thing. It's like, it's not even bad job. It's, oh, this is horrible. You get, so... but just as you guys have 2,000 subs or something,
or 28,000.
2,000. Oh, no, 2,810. Okay, cool. I don't think you need to hide your sub count, but also if your thought is you want people to just click on the news without a preconceived bias, I could see why you would. Like, so I get that, but like I just think their biggest issue, looking at their most popular, and then if I go a different route, if I go the newest. I think the biggest issue is just writing headlines. What do you think, Viper and Shelly?
I really don't like the name. I don't understand what Loud Labs is supposed to represent. And when it comes to a news type of source, I don't
Hmm.
understand what that has to do with anything.
I think it's a play on CNN using the LLN thing. And I get it. I think it's just like their own brand. But you're right. It doesn't necessarily mean something to anybody. But I also understand if someone wanted to make their own thing, or maybe they incorporated that way. I don't know. But I get you,
LLM
because
Carolinas could be anything, like limited practice nurses, or like how would I know that this is like news about the Carolinas? Just
I
from the
would
type of
I would
channel.
want to put that in the channel name. I agree with you that I'd want to put something in the channel name that says that this is news, like coverage, and that this is news highlights.
Yeah.
Like so I agree with you. I'm just saying I'm trying to also look from their point of view why they would do that. But like I said, I think the other thing is in the banner, I need some context. Your channel name can give context, and that's a good idea, especially for something like news. But I also really could use it in the banner, if nothing else, because I don't want to have to click on the about section.
And the majority of people will not. Most people
Okay, so
are never going to click over there.
so it's a company name, so I get that. All right, you can have the company name, but I think you need to contextualize still in the channel name that this is like, because you could have the logo, you could just have the company logo, but I think the channel name has to in some way describe what I'm getting in terms of the Carolina live news clips would be like something maybe that describes it. What's another version of that
By LLN Cardinals or whatever, or
Carolinas.
by LLN Carolinas at the end.
Because it's North and
it
South
needs to
Carolina.
start with like, Carolina's News Network by LLN Carolinas or something, because just because it's a company like logo or a company like letter,
Yeah.
no one understands what that means.
Yeah, I think it's got to be something like Carolina news clips and then dash LLN.
Yeah.
And then I think that Carolina news clips works better than Carolina's news clips, because Carolina news clips lets me know, okay, Carolina, so North and South Carolina, like,
Yep.
oh, you're like, okay,
and it's
cool.
news, and it's like you
And
have
it's
to have
the
that.
clips, so it's
Every time you're trying to be like clever instead of clear, that's not clear. That's trying to be clever. Or that's not even clever. It's actually perfunctory, and it's like it's
actually
like
instead of clever, it's convoluted.
Yeah, it's actually not clear at all, and it's actually hindering you by quite a lot. And I would lose that like immediately.
So I think that would help considerably. I also think that literally sometimes making your name as logical and clear as possible could also get you more surfacing in the YouTube algorithm in terms of who it reaches people for. I would also, if you're not, I would consider geotagging your video clips for this as a news channel. I think that could be incredibly valuable. And then I'm just going to click on one of these mainly I'm going to click on the one that's least likely to get me flagged in some way.
Yeah, I would literally rename the channel Carolina News Clips.
Yeah, but I'm going to, so I'm also going to mute this. But the thing I want to see is, I think the descriptions have to be much more thorough than this, because this isn't bad.
But not only the description's poor, the titles are poor. I mean, you're actually a news
titles.
Yes, you're an actual news, and like you would not see that in a newspaper. Like if you think about that in the inverse pyramid and the way that like the juiciest part is going to be at the top, that is not a title that you're going to see in your local newspaper that's going to attract attention. Like go back to basics when it comes to being a news source and look at, when it comes to news, what does that title and phrasing look like? Because it's not that, I guarantee.
By the way,
I
know everyone likes to say that YouTube tags don't matter. I know everyone loves to say that.
I don't say that. I don't say that.
But for news, I'm going to tell you, for news and for news clips like this, it absolutely does. And I would be using search queries, but I'd also be using very important descriptors. So this was in Charlotte. I'd be using, why isn't there a tag here for Charlotte, North Carolina, so that anybody that's local to there or anything like that for YouTube to classify and identify that, like that should be in there. So it should be geotagged on that.
Absolutely.
I think maybe even putting the date in there I think the news, because the thing is, everyone keeps saying tags don't matter. Let me remind you how search engines work. In news, this is literally a periodical. So if we literally went to news archives, keywords would absolutely matter. This is why I don't like anybody. I understand
and someone
why.
tries to say that advice and then apply it towards everyone, but it's like it's not true in all instances. And in fact,
And I know
sometimes
that
it's just not true, period.
YouTube makes these blanket statements about a lot of these things, but I just want y'all, and I'm not throwing shade at YouTube, and I love YouTube, and I love the YouTube employees, and I love when people come forward, but we have a lot of conflicting information from YouTube engineers when it comes to keywords and tags.
Or
So
just
what
really
I want,
crappy information when it comes to rolling out new features like shorts with like the convoluted, the way that they did that. They're awful sometimes at communicating. They're working on it, but they're awful at it.
you might notice I'm not doing YouTube shorts. You might notice there's a reason.
I think
there's a reason. There's a reason.
I will
There's
also
an algorithmic. Me and Daryl talked about it.
One of the problems with a news channel is that a lot of the time people aren't going back 1 year, 2 years, 3 years to look at the news thing. So unlike a lot of other things that have evergreen content, you have to keep continually pumping out content, and it has to be fresh and new. So everything that you have to do has to be with the timelyhood aspect in mind. So everything around geotagging, around descriptions, around better titles, about better thumbnails, about using tags, those are more important for you than any other type of channel, because of the fact that once like your news cycle literally is over, no one cares about that video anymore unless you're referencing an old video. I got a jet.
Or unless they need it for research purposes, or unless they need it for research, which is why I'm saying use the thesis of how news archival actually works, because it becomes important for us to reference things, especially crime scenes and things of that nature, and accidents and natural disasters. Like, there's a very important aspect to that wherein they do work. Again, I know that some BW1 is saying I stopped using tags ago. They don't matter. They do. They may not be mattering for you and for what you're trying to do. We talked to, I reviewed BW1's channel, and like sometimes, what's up? You gotta go, Sally? All right.
Go.
But like for some people, they can say anecdotally, people can say tags don't matter, but there are actual use cases for it. And I want you guys to remember, like, Viper, we're tech product people. If you look at Best Buy's website and you look at Amazon's website, would you tell me that keywords and tags on that website don't matter?
Oh, they definitely matter.
So why do we want to believe that tags don't matter for YouTube? Because we don't get more views because we tag our videos, theoretically?
Tags matter. I always say that.
Tags are context. It's not about getting views.
Yeah, tags help the algorithm figure out where to put your video. So you want to.
I would say tags help with confirming classification and distribution and contextualizing things.
Okay. Can you do me a favor, Roberto?
Yes, I can.
Can we check and see if this channel or if any of the content on this channel is restricted? Because I'm gonna.
You want to check restricted mode?
I'm guessing it probably is.
So let's look at the video uploads, and then let's move and toggle over to restricted mode. You're probably right. I mean, it's news.
Damn!
Oh, that's painful.
Woo! Yeah.
That's painful.
Does not like. I was looking at you. I'm like, this is gonna have a hard time growing on YouTube, because YouTube does not like the real life newsy content on the platform. They don't.
Well, sometimes it's not that it's trying to suppress it; it's just that it's not appropriate for all audiences, and that's But it doesn't always get that right either. I mean, but if I go to Philip DeFranco's channel, the same thing is going to happen.
Yep.
For news channels, I think that sometimes like shares and search and certain things matter more. But yeah, that's painful to see. So you might want to appeal your videos and check restricted mode on a channel like this. So LLN Carolinas, you might need to look into that. So yeah, look, I mean, with restricted mode, look at all these things that comes back, and you can't say it didn't affect the views. We can't say it didn't affect the views because just seeing 2 weeks of your videos disappear like that's painful to watch. And that's just at the top. That's not even counting the inventory. So I was like, Jesus. Yeah. Yeah. So there's that. Hope that helps. So we got my homie What Chef channel. So it's about food and a little more. I got you on it's about food and a little more. So you're almost to 1,000. So good on that. Now, here's something I want to point out to people. like, okay, how many views should you theoretically be getting if you're at X amount of subscribers? It's a misnomer because remember, I showed you guys that literally subscribers and views don't necessarily correlate. Because we looked at the back end of a 1,000 subscriber channel and we saw that it's like, oh, that's not the answer. And the views aren't even coming from subscribers. That's not how it works. And we saw it on a music channel, which means we know we have objective data. We're not factoring personality, blah, 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 blah. Right? So what, Shep? You're about to hit 1,000. You probably have the watch time requirements because you've been at this for a very long time. So here's the first thing. Some of the videos perform better than others, and that's how I think food and products and different things are. But I'm noticing a pattern. Even out of your recent videos, you get more views when you cover known name brands. McDonald's has been your big hitter. I think if you want to get more views and subscribers, that you have a real if you watch Damn Drops, you have a real pathway to understanding what is popular and what would work. But let's even look at what's been successful historically. If we look at your channel, you probably think you're doing worse than you are because you're ignoring what has already proven itself to work, which is the thing that most small YouTubers do, Viper. I mean, you and I talk about this all the time. YouTubers ignore what's previously worked in favor of, well, this is what I want to do now, or this is what I hope will work. When there's already evidence to tell us if we wanted videos to get over 1,000 views, well, you already have data telling you what will get over 1,000 views. And it seems mostly to be content that relates to known brands, to staples, to things that are household names. So what would my answer be? What would my thought be? I would review brands that are household names. And here's another one. Remember how we talked about what will get attention? So what, Chef? You know what there is right now that proves what will get attention when it comes to food? There's this little channel that recently started that I don't know if you've ever heard of that literally could help you predict what you could make that will get views. So because Food Theorist exists as a channel that literally, whenever it drops a video, gets millions of views and continues to get even back catalog millions of views on food, here's what I would do. If I really wanted to grow a food channel right now, I would look at all the brands and all the food types that MatPat has been covering on Food Theory. And I would probably make videos about these brands. I'd make my own videos. I wouldn't copy his videos, but I would use this as my inventory to tell me right now, these are the brands that people care about when it comes to food right now and what's on their mind. And it's on their mind because it has millions of views. The algorithm also already knows that people care about Burger King and care about Hershey's right now and Cheetos and so on and so forth and Captain Crunch because it has millions of views. You already have a view funnel if you look at it by just even doing that. So, and again, your own history straight up proves that when you review things that people are currently interested in, when they're interested in it, it works. Viper, any thoughts?
I mean, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Even in your analytics, you can check and see what your audience is watching. So when Roberto said that you should see what they're doing on Food Theory to get an idea of the type of content and brands that you should be going after, I mean, the numbers don't lie, man. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie.
Yeah, and you know what? Damn Drops Netflix show is out, and I would even look at that because people are going to be searching for stuff that came up in his Netflix. That you could even people who care about food, you could even do a reaction to his Netflix show, because he's a popular YouTuber and it's a Netflix show and he's getting all this success and it's on Twitter. There's opportunities by going into that, and then there's opportunities for people to see, oh, you also review food and you do it a little bit differently, and then so I would lean into that. And then, all right, sometimes you want to do these weird experiments with food. If you're going to do that, you already have also seen the type of thing that will get clicks by seeing what Food Theory is putting out there and what's working. And it's not just because they're a big YouTube channel launched by a big YouTuber. Again, MatPat had no clout in food. He had game theory and he had film theory, and those things did not have anything to do with food. It's a completely different genre. So again, there's opportunity. Like, you just have to like pay attention to what has attention. Because by the way, you have less than 1,000 subscribers. If you can get more than 100 views on a video with 1,000 subscribers, and again, most of it won't even come from subscribers, you consider that a good thing. Remember, PewDiePie has 100 million subscribers, not necessarily getting even 5 to 10 million views with 100 million subscribers. Subscribers don't matter as much as everyone wants to think they do. Not for getting views anyway. For brand deals, sure. Views, not so much. So if that's the case, we don't judge our videos on a view to subscriber ratio. Stop it. But if you were, I'm fine with anybody at 1,000 subscribers or less. I consider 100 views a win. If you're bigger than that, I consider 500 views a win. Whatever. But I don't think that your channel is doing as bad as you imagine it is. I think one of your biggest issues is twofold. Consistency of putting out content because you get demotivated by not getting and seeing more growth and more views, which would happen with consistency. And then also not necessarily making content that has been proven that there's attention already existing around it. So if I was going to think about that, that is something I would think about. And yes, I understand MatPat has dozens of people working for him on videos, and I'm not saying expect the same quality. I'm saying conceptually, you can come up with ideas around things that have been proven to have attention by following and mapping results and knowing that, hey, there's a bunch of people that are paying attention to a brand right now. I can ride some of that attention because it's in people's consciousness already. It's going to make it more likely that they click. That's all I'm saying.
That's the thought.
Yep. Scapo says, since you mentioned issues with YouTube Shorts, I want to know your thoughts. Have you seen it hurting channels? Started leaning into it along with Reels and TikTok. I'm not going to comment on YouTube Shorts at this time because I'd have to lay out my case in a different way, and we've got channels to get through. So still looking good, 58. All right. So this is a lifestyle channel for women, and let's see what we've got here. Let me zoom out just a little bit just to get a sense of this. So there's not. Oh wait, I was about to say there wasn't a ton of content, but it just took a while for YouTube to load it up. So I'm already seeing some improvements with regard to thumbnails, by the way. Very healthy channel from what I can see. You know, to be very honest with you, I don't really have much to say about this. Like, I think that the channel is actually pretty strong, to be honest with you. Viper, any thoughts?
I
think for what it is, and again, for the channel size, I think it's doing well.
Yeah, thumbnails are on point.
They've gotten better over time, clearly.
Yeah, titles and straightforward. Here's a little hint or cheat code or whatever you want to call it for all of you all. Captioning your video will get you more views.
It's true.
Here's the thing though. I'm not talking about the YouTube auto captions because those are trash. Those are hot garbage.
Viper with the shade.
Name it shade. In reality, they are trash. But
fair enough.
If you caption the videos yourself, or you can do what I do and pay rev.com to caption videos. They charge like $125 a minute or whatever. But
yeah,
caption your videos. Your video can get more views if they're captioned.
Yeah,
so
if you can afford it, because you know, the more you do and the longer it is, it gets a little pricey. But
exactly. That's why I said you can do it yourself, or you can have a third party do it. But caption your videos, you'll get more views. There you go.
Yeah. No, but I'm good with this channel for what it is. And I think that actually that's healthy. I think the issue with growth is just the active audience of women of a certain age on YouTube, obviously that number will increase because actually the growth verticals for YouTube skew over 30, meaning that the room for growth, like YouTube has penetrated the youth market already. You know what I'm saying? In fact, if you look at all of the social media platforms, they've already saturated all of the youth verticals. So the adoption going forward is exposure to people who are over 30 who haven't adopted these platforms yet. So you're going to see now at maturation that the growth vertical is the over 30 market because it's the only market and the non-English market is the only markets left because they've already set. If you're a young person and you speak English, you're on the major social media platforms if your parents are allowing it. And that's just how it is. If you're under 20, 25, whatever, you're probably, and you speak English and you have the access to the technology, you're on these platforms. That's a fact. I mean, that's not up for debate, right, Viper?
No. Although
So
we got to address the comment that Paul Peck just left. You guys have to think about how your content appears on mobile platform. Apparently, banner get cut off on mobile.
Okay, yeah. So you might want to take a look at that. That's important.
Yeah, and then go for banner and thumbnails and all that good stuff. When you are designing your thumbnails, you want to make sure that they pop even on a mobile device because most people are watching YouTube on a mobile device. So definitely want to make that. Definitely want to take that into consideration when you're making your thumbnail for sure.
Yeah. So looking also at your most popular videos, I mean, they do more views than you have subscribers. So, and it looks like the most popular content on your channel is really around wigs. So maybe I would even rebrand the channel around the idea of it being wigs, since that seems to be a staple and a focus of the channel. It seems to be the best performing content, unless you just don't want to feel like you're stuck with that. But ultimately, I think it's what people are coming and subscribing for, to be very honest. So that's
that thing we said earlier. When you identify what the audience wants from you, there you
Lean in.
Oh.
Here's a channel that I think is crushing it. I wonder what they're actually like. I think the reason that this is crushing it is because I think that this channel really understands what its audience is. This is actually really strong. And people say, oh, I can't make it in gaming, but it's like y'all aren't offering necessarily new value by making a Let's Play channel. Let's be very real about that. But this channel specifically is covering the best deals when it comes to PlayStation and PlayStation Network, and it's reviewing individual games. Apparently, it's also doing deals. It's okay for the views to be lesser on reviews but higher on deals, and they're okay with that. And it looks like it's doing really well, especially for being 7 months old. This channel, in my opinion, is crushing it.
Yeah.
Branding is on point. I love the branding. Like, this is good.
Oh,
and it's cross promoted on Switch Corner. So like smart. I've reviewed Switch Corner before. I love Switch Corner. Actually, it was one of my favorites. So it's like, so it replicated the success. Oh, I can't wait for you to do Xbox Corner. Are you going to do Xbox? I can't wait. Like Switch Corner. Yeah. I remember. Oh my God. So yeah, this is smart. And again, it's using a strategy and it's cross promoting and it's like, this is good. And it's using strong thumbnails, obviously. It's using what works. It's using... And here's the other thing about this. Even if this was a gaming channel in the conventional sense, Viper, it would be successful. Do you know why? I could get immersed by these thumbnails. I know, and I can recognize these characters, these franchises. I'm like, that's the universe that the game exists in, and that's the branding, and that's like, sign me up. Click. It's like, I can click that.
Yeah.
I can click that. See, when I see new gaming channels, I don't see thumbnails I can click on, and I don't see thumbnails that are more about the game than they are about the creator most of the time.
Yep, the channel definitely doing good things. Definitely.
This channel's setup makes it all about me, the buyer, wanting this video game. And see, I know that people are like, but I want me to be in the content and everything like that. But this is what I mean. Like, and sometimes that's fine. And there's like a type of style for that or whatever. But again, I really love when I see a channel that puts their viewers first, and when I can immediately identify that if I want to buy, like, I mean, actually, like if I want to buy something when it comes to my PlayStation, this is the channel that I would be on. There's no way around it. If I'm a PlayStation owner, this channel is immediately valuable to me. There's no reason not to subscribe to it.
Did y'all see what just happened though? Did y'all he just glossed over so quickly. Did y'all see what just happened though? That's the crap, but y'all get it like boom.
But it makes sense to, like, if I own a PlayStation, why would I not subscribe to this channel?
Damn.
That's the key there. If I own a PlayStation, why would I not subscribe to this channel? That's what wins. You see?
Right there.
So like PlayStation Corner. Like, actually, I mean, if you like, you probably don't need my help at this point on the two channels, but like, you'd be a good candidate if you wanted to work with me and you wanted to hire me to do one-on-one coaching with you. Like, you'd be a good candidate for it because you have the potential with both of these channels to be a 1 million subscribed channel. I don't know how quickly that could happen, but there's not a lot you're doing wrong. But I think that there are just opportunities and tweaks, and there's a timeline and a horizon. Do you go into 100K on both channels? And then after you hit 100K on both channels, I think that it's not a long way to 1 million for you because of the way that your content works and because of the fact that the consumer market around PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch, because I think you should launch the Xbox Corner channel whenever you can get around to it. Because like right now, Xbox is about to explode. So there's an opportunity to capitalize on that in the market. And then we have the console wars active right now. And then we know all the Pokemon stuff that's about to drop over the next 6 months. There's a pathway, and then Metroid, Breath of the Wild 2. There's a pathway to this network of 3 channels. There's a pathway to 100,000 subs across these 3 channels. There's the cross promotion opportunity, because again, I'm speculating the third channel that doesn't exist yet. And then there's I just see a brand here that can work. That's my thought. So I'm actually excited about this.
There you go.
Yeah.
On that note, I got a bid.
You've got to run.
Sir, but I appreciate you having me make it time, sir.
I appreciate you making the time, Viper.
No doubt. You have a good weekend. I'll catch up with you.
You too, man. Take care. Yeah. Actually, you know who could, in theory? Hey, Jordan, do you want to join me on stream? So I could bring you on. But yeah, so that was a really good example of a channel that's crushing it. Here is Vincent W. Davis. I wonder if Vincent is still... Oh, you can jump on, Jordan? Okay, cool. Give me a second, Jordan. I'll bring you in. But yeah, so we got Vincent W. Davis and Associates. So this looks like are you a law channel, or I'm almost you're a law channel, right? This looks like this is a channel for your business. So like that's one of the points of clarity in terms of your content. So that's one thing. And I'm bringing Jordan in. So I assume that the goal for this channel is less about necessarily growing a YouTube channel. Like, let me ask you this, since you're still here. Vincent, is this channel more about getting clients, or is this channel more about building brand? And for the person talking about me coaching this, like, my channel is doing fine. My channel is doing fantastic. My channel in ad revenue, my last video in ad revenue generated $1,000 in ad revenue. My own channel is doing just fine. So that troll, who I don't believe themselves, I think the person that was wanting to make those comments, if I actually go and I check their YouTube channel, assuming they actually have any videos uploaded, who wants to say anything? I mean, they're welcome to. It's like, oh, I just checked on another thing. And I'm sorry, I'm going to get back to you, Vincent. So someone's going to sit there and try and troll me about coaching people who has 6 videos and 23 subscribers. And one video with 100 views and hasn't uploaded in 4 years. See, and this is why, and I know I'm giving attention to someone who doesn't deserve any attention, but see, this is my point. There are YouTubers with 1 million subscribers who have been on the channel before and can vouch for the quality of my coaching. And the people who have things to say about me literally haven't even made their first 50 or 100 videos and usually don't have any accomplishments of their own. By the way, just a lesson to everybody else. If you're going to take criticism from people who have accomplished more than you. Other than that, I would largely say you could ignore it. Anywho, Vincent, with regard to your stuff here, you're saying that it's mostly lead gen. So if it's mostly lead gen, what I would focus on is this. If it's mostly lead gen, here are your videos that have the most overall viewership. So these represent the themes and the topics around which your desired clients exist. So this is the pool of who you are actually trying to reach that also responds and is also most likely to then convert from a casual viewer, to a paying client. So I would focus in on these particular topics because remember what we said is a qualifier to a click. A qualifier to a click is, am I interested in the topic? Did the title appeal to my immediate attention and values and needs? And then did the thumbnail get my attention? So I think that some of your thumbnails could obviously use some work and better, but again, you're not a full-time YouTuber. Maybe you should outsource that. Consider something like customthumbnails.com. Consider Fiverr. Consider somewhere to outsource the thumbnails to that's a little bit of a higher quality to get attention. But in terms of your topics, I would revisit these topics that get you 5,000 to 10,000 views around these topics, because these are the things that I think are most likely to represent solid lead generation for you. So when I say that, Vincent, does that make sense for you? And again, I think you're doing fine overall, especially for, again, if your channel's main concern is that. But I would also, it looks like you're somewhat leaning into the way and approach to Dave Ramsey. So I like that, by the way. I just think from a thumbnail standpoint that going that route consistently with the quality of the thumbnails would also be helpful. But I do like what I'm seeing. My mic has reverb. No, it wasn't that it was reverb. It's that I think my brother was doing something with the garage. My brother was using the garage, so that's what it is. Yeah. So Vincent, does that make sense? Yes. All right. You said that makes sense. Perfect. All right. Next channel. Jordan, by the way, I sent you a DM link. So we got All Access Construction here, which again, great channel. So first of all, very good use of playlist here. Very strong. Very strong use of playlist. So we like that. What else do we have going on here? YouTube Shorts, I don't think have been working for you. You tried it. I think it's, at least from my perspective, I don't think you need to be doing YouTube Shorts because, I mean, you can keep trying it if you want to, but I have not seen YouTube Shorts work out for you if I'm looking at these. And YouTube Shorts, I think, is over. I think YouTube Shorts is overrated. I think YouTube Shorts are overrated. I think that everybody has promoted the idea of YouTube Shorts as something that will blow up your channel, and it's not always true. So what I would say is you have things that have, even in the last 2 months, been very successful here. I think that some of these are just going to be hit or miss. I think the thumbnails can be somewhat improved because I think some of it is just frankly too much text. I think some of it is just too much text, to be honest. I think that you can have text, and I think it's like saying, oh, what it is, and that's worked for you. Because I mean, if we look at your most popular videos, I think that there are just different things that are hit or miss. But I think that too much text on the thumbnail and not using an image that is the most interesting thing, I think is the problem. I think when you show the most interesting thing, actually see this dump truck thing here, like this would have probably been the most interesting thing you could have put on the thumbnail. I think that there are moments in these thumbnails that represent the most interesting thing happening, and I would rather have more of that be the thumbnail than a lot of what your current thumbnails are, if you take a look at it. And I think if you look at there are channels like right now there's something called the boring channel. I would look at the boring channel and I'd look at what they're doing with thumbnails. Channel reviews are closed. So yeah, so All Access Construction, I think you're doing fine overall. It's just that I believe that the thumbnails could be helped tremendously by using the most interesting thing happening in the video as the thumbnail, and then using very readable text, but probably a lot less of it, and probably in a way that doesn't obscure the most interesting thing happening in the screen, to be honest. And I also don't think YouTube Shorts have been working for you. And I think a lot of that is just owed to YouTube picking the thumbnail for you. So, yeah. So we have Skip X. Skip X, all right, about 1,000 subs. I think that your homepage could be customized a little bit more. I like what I'm seeing with these thumbnails, to be honest with you. I like these thumbnails quite a bit. You've been making content for a while. Your thumbnails have come a long way, actually. And it looks like you've come a long way in terms of your ability to get views, because it looks like you were struggling to get views, but it looks like you changed things up, and now it's actually being very successful. So guys, look at the evolution of this channel. You look at the evolution of this channel, there was, in many cases, a struggle to get views, largely topic, title, thumbnail, timing, but I'm seeing more consistency, and I'm now seeing more consistency. Or when I say consistency, I mean in branding and an approach. But I'm seeing consistency, and I'm seeing a big improvement, I think, in viewership based on that. I also think there's something to be said for timing. I also think you should pursue this series. I think you should pursue making a series of the games and videos and their storylines and their timelines and explaining it in less than a certain amount of time. I think that if you did this series and you pick a lot of things and you explain these games, like right now, what I'd probably do with the Mass Effect, I'd like right now with Mass Effect, I would do Mass Effect and explain that the Mass Effect timeline in a certain amount of minutes. I would explain the Mass Effect timeline in a certain amount of minutes. I would explain the Dark Souls timeline in a certain amount of minutes. I would explain the Halo timeline right now with Halo Infinite in a certain amount of minutes. That's an idea for a concept for a series that could totally take your channel off. And I can say that as a gamer, I watch the lore videos a lot. I think with Final Fantasy VII coming out, and look at the Final Fantasy series stuff, I would take a lot of these things and I would make a video about their timelines and then make them in a certain amount of minutes. Explained in 12 minutes, explained in 18 minutes, explained in 20 minutes, explained in 5 minutes, explained in 8 minutes. Like, I would set a time constraint that's interesting, and I would make those videos, and I would make a video about those timelines for those things. And I think also, again, timing some of this around game releases, I think also the genre of games would matter. And the thing is, I have an excellent gamer and TikToker and YouTuber and all around good dude, Jordan. Welcome to the stream.
How's it going? I was having such an issue with my camera for some reason. It just wasn't working. So I just trying to figure that all out. It works now, though.
Yeah, life be like that sometimes. So what's up, Jordan?
Everything's good. Just posted second best video actually ever on my channel.
Excellent.
It's again not huge views, but it's gonna do
Yeah,
incredible.
your channel's a small YouTuber. It's fine. It's like it's
And
whatever.
I followed a lot of what you were saying and like the things that I was thinking about, and like it worked out very, very well with timing and everything.
We'll take a peek at it here a little bit toward the end, actually. But what do you think of what I just said about doing this like series of explaining a certain timeline for a game and doing it in a certain amount of minutes? Because I mean, it's also one of the most successful videos on this channel. I mean, 2 months ago, 88K views. I think you could apply that to a lot of different series, especially series right now that are becoming popular again or may have new stuff coming out like Mass Effect or whatever. I mean, what do you think?
So I saw this tweet earlier. I forget who made it. I don't know what it was about. It was about like an anime YouTuber.
Mhm.
And the tweet was basically like, you could talk about every game you love and everything, but nobody's going to care because no one cares about you. They only care about the game. And you can talk about that with video games. There's so many video game series I would love to talk about, but no one's going to care about them. So if you make those lore videos about recent games coming up, which is honestly going on with my channel, it'd be the best thing possible. Because
I agree. But I also agree that there's a twist. You know, you have to put a twist on it.
In the sense of,
I'll give you a primary example. This whole concept of explaining the timeline of a franchise, okay, and doing it in a certain amount of minutes, it's the cliff notes for people who are now onboarding into the game or got interested or saw a clip of it somewhere, and especially if it's something that is like either surging in popularity as a new game or as a franchise that has been rebooted or had a new installment.
Yeah, that's,
so it's a catch up.
Saying. Yeah,
so it's a catch up.
Saying. Because my opinion is like last week there should have been a Ratchet and Clank video. Because Ratchet and Clank just came out, and love that series.
You know, you could still do if you did a timeline of Ratchet and Clank, it would catch people up because there's people who've missed Ratchet and Clank games,
myself included.
Yeah.
And then what is it? Breath of the Wild 2, or the entire timeline of Zelda with Breath of the Wild 2 coming out. And those, these thumbnails are incredible.
Yes, I love them.
Really do love them. But the thing is with the Zelda, they're always going to be coming out. But if you can time it with Breath of the Wild 2, every new Zelda game coming out, you're going to be getting new views.
Exactly.
But if you make, one last thing.
Go ahead.
And then these videos may be the best thing ever. Oh yeah, someone said in the chat, Elden Ring. And these videos may be the best video ever made, but there's no real, I mean, it's not, I'm not trying to say anything about subscribers, but because you don't have those inside jokes yet with your audience or that big of an audience that really understands it, no one's going to really want to click on it that much.
I wouldn't watch it. Why I love Kane Near Replicant version 2 and everything like that. I would watch something that explains like her, like the most interesting thing about her, but not why you love her, because I don't know who you are. I don't care. And I like, make me care, make me like love this character in the title, even in the title, intrigue me as to what it's like, intrigue me in some way. Like, especially if I'm someone who is familiar with the franchise, tell me the most interesting thing. Or again, like, don't even like, it's like, you know, tell me that she'll break my heart, or that she's the ultimate this or that, or tell me something I don't know that is intriguing enough to make me want to know.
Right.
And take yourself out of the equation, by the way.
And then if you look at someone who did this really well, actually, Scott the Woz.
Yes.
If you look at his first few videos, obviously his first few ones, like the views are inflated now because they're just kind of classics and they're funny. But sure. Nintendo Switch wish list right before E3, Nintendo Switch E3 presentation review, and his video quality was always amazing from the beginning because he had the background in video editing. Then he went a history of Smash Bros. Leaks and rumors when there were leaks and rumors, and then why the Wii U failed right as the Switch launched. And then he built up an audience that genuinely just loved him because he had such incredible videos. And now, I mean, he can do anything because he's Scott the Woz. And he can go talk about his favorite video game franchises no one's ever really heard of, but they're inside jokes with his audience. I know some video game franchises just because I watch him, but a channel that's my size or this size doesn't have that like repertoire with their audience yet.
Yes, agreed. So, Skip X, I think we've given you a ton of value. I think that you should really consider that. And again, Jordan, I'm going to actually take a look at what's going on with your channel for last, but I want to move on to Colt Wheeler's country guitar. And so it's interesting. I think that with a guitar channel, a channel to learn guitar, I think that there's a lot of evergreen value to these. I actually like a lot of what I see here in terms of the style of thumbnails that I'm seeing here. I think that the stuff that I think that like what's actually working here that's really interesting is I like the stuff for the buyers. I think that that is probably what, to me at least, is probably the more intriguing and attractive stuff, because I think that if you make videos for buyers, and this isn't a very old channel, so I think the views are like fine. This is like actually really good. But I think about it. I think if you make stuff, because the thing is, to play guitar, you have to start with just acquiring the tools. You have to get your guitar, you have to get your amp, you have to get your pedals, you have to get this stuff, you have to get your picks. So just the acquisition of the means of making music, I think, is a really good foundation for a music-based channel around guitar enthusiast. So I think the rest of it, the techniques and stuff, I think all of that's valid. But I think building the foundation of the base of the people who clearly need to have a guitar, pick one within a budget, I think that there's a really good foundation in that.
I have a quick idea, because I was somebody who tried playing guitar, and I also have a question after this.
Okay.
So this is based on country music. And one thing I always see, just because I love like DJing and stuff like that, and just like just watched a lot of videos on that, I used to. What if you took like very popular pop songs that just came out like last week, this week, a week beforehand, and tune them into country music, like just a country like riff off of that?
Oh, I like that idea. So I love that idea. Here's another one. So I love that idea because it capitalizes on existing attention and the Zeitgeist and all of those things in a remix. And it actually works in other genres of music. Like there are people who did all the remixes to when Cardi B would do stuff, Taylor Swift. So there's value in that. So I agree with that 100%. Here's another one though, that's just a conventional tactic. Easiest, like a series on the easiest country songs to learn on your guitar. Because as a beginner learning guitar, like you might be trying to play your favorite song, but the thing is that might be a little rough. Maybe you need to learn what the easiest thing to learn to play is so that you can feel good about playing something and getting it to sound good to keep you going. Because like when you're trying to learn to play a musical instrument, it's like the most discouraging thing in the world, to be honest with you. Like
I've been there, done that, quit.
Does anyone relate to that, by the way? Does anyone relate to the idea that like learning to play a musical instrument is probably like
harder than YouTube?
Oh, by far. Like, I don't think it's like even close. Like, I think it's the most discouraging thing in the world to try to play a musical instrument.
So, quick thing. So I'm looking on Google Trends right here. I looked up country guitar, past 7 days YouTube search. And the breakout terms right now are How Country Feels, song by Randy Houser, Marcy Playground, minor chord, country pop musical genre, musical A note, fiddle, musical instrument, and a bunch of different songs. And their search history in the past week has been plus 650%. The breakout terms are over 1,000%. And there's a lot of things over here above 100% in the past week, which means they're growing in trends. Also, they're artists in related queries. So that could be a big thing to look at.
Google Trends is your friend, and country is about to blow up. There you go. Especially probably with like reopening America and with the summer, 4th of July. I can see it. And here's the thing. For a channel with less than 100 subscribers, this channel is doing great. And this is also a channel that's also only a couple of months old. I think this channel is doing great personally.
Yeah.
And so I think I like the thumbnail style. It's a little unconventional, but I like it. I also think that it's quality, especially for a small YouTuber. It's one of the for a small YouTuber, this is probably some of the best thumbnails I think I've seen on a beginner channel. So I dig it. Honestly, I dig it.
Yeah. Quick question.
I think Shady is right. Like we have a really interesting set of channels. Like actually Derek said it. We have all these channels are really interesting. I think we got a really good crop of interesting channels. But what were you gonna say, Jordan?
Two things. One, Google Trends, your opinion on the website.
I just want the user interface to be better for me. I just want a different user interface. I also want it to have its own app.
Yes, that'd be amazing. It's literally, I mean, that website is how I got the biggest video on my channel by like 10, 20, 30 times. Just by searching up Nintendo, finding breakout term, making a video on it. And also when I make a video, I search up the keywords. I know TubeBuddy's great for it as well. Yeah. But another thing is search a manual thing, search up words, and it just tells me what to put in descriptions.
I also use keywords anywhere. There's a lot of stuff you can use. I use a lot of things all at once. Yeah. Ooh, here is, okay, so this channel is doing a lot of anime and then also doing animation stuff and doing reactions, but it's doing them with a twist. Like, I think in some ways this reminds me a little bit of Nux Taku. So this is like a VTuber, and views-wise, I think this is doing amazing. And like, it's really doing amazing. Thumbnails, I don't got much comments to say. It's working. It's getting views and stuff like that. I would continue. If you are not inspired by or not looking at Nux Taku, I would look hard and study Nux Taku. But the thing that I really think you could look at for this channel, Shin, is like, I would like to see more series. I would like to see more series that are like now your thing that you're becoming known for specifically, because I think you have a fan base that allows for that at this point, and I think you could get repeat viewers out of it, and I think that it could be the thing that explodes you, because that's also what happened with Nux. With Nux Taku, he leaned heavily into starting to use these franchises that are known, but to also then make series that he could become known for, like his best flexes in anime and other things. So I think, and I'm also a fan of a lot of these franchises that you're covering. I'm a big fan of Fate, for example. So I actually know the source material. So what I would say is, I think leaning into memes and leaning into anime, you can see the evolution of this channel. You can see getting away from a lot of the Let's Play and the streams and stuff like that, and then going into this other style of content is obviously stronger. So, something to think about. Oh, your everyday nerd. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate you. Got that super chat in there. Boom. So yeah, that's what I think. We got Elizabeth's Chronicles. This is if I believe this is a true crime channel. Yep. So one of the things that you're vulnerable to, it may or may not be happening, is just be very careful with some of your titles, just so that you don't end up getting pushed down by age gating and things like that. This channel started a month ago, and I think it's doing fantastic. I mean, first of all, props to the level of consistency with these uploads. And then staying on topical events and everything like that. So your main problem is subscribership. And look at this, 20,000 views a week ago on this one, on Chris Watts. But here's the thing. I think the problem with subscribership is, one, like when it's these very true crime things and you have these very dastardly people, there might be some guilt associated with subscribing to a channel that's largely around horrific events. So there might be some resistance. Someone could watch this stuff a lot, but somehow feel reluctant to subscribe to it. And that's not your fault. That's just the genre, in my opinion. So I could see that, because I sometimes end up in that situation of like, if I subscribe to this, I'm going to be actively seeking this thing out. And sometimes I'll click on it, and sometimes I will click on it. But I'm like, I don't necessarily want to do that. There's like some creepypasta channels that I watch, but I won't subscribe to them because I'm like, I don't want to sign up for Nightmare Fuel. I don't want to sign up for Nightmare Fuel. I don't want to sign up for Nightmare Fuel. Like, does that make sense, Jordan?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
So the biggest issue I see is, I mean, your content's working. I think that there's some room to improve thumbnails, but I think you're doing fine. I think this genre doesn't lean as heavily on it. And ultimately, I don't think that that's going to help you if your goal is to grow subscribers. I just think that, one, I think you're growing a lot of subscribers considering you've been around for a month. It's very difficult to get to 1,000 subs in a month. So you're already doing great. I think your consistency is prolific on this, Elizabeth. And then I think your branding is good. I just think that the real problem is that sometimes, like with this subject matter, I think getting subscribership itself is just really challenging because of the nature of the thing itself.
I see something going on in chat. I can't see the entire thing. They're talking about Twitch and YouTube as well. Not about this channel, but something about else.
Oh yeah, I think they're going on. They're talking maybe about like exclusivity and like the problems with that.
Oh, okay.
I'm just guessing because I'm guessing that like because like Ian's sorry, not Ian, Ivan the Unstoppable, I think is just like the rock star dominating the chat right now. So I think that it just means the discussion is more pulled around whatever they're talking about than whatever channels we have up on the screen.
Gotcha. So just a thing that I see with the thumbnails here, because I had this the other day with a friend of mine. He's a Star Wars channel, and we were talking about thumbnails. These wouldn't necessarily like super pop if I saw them just because a little more of a pastel color.
Mm-hmm.
Just something that like I'm thinking about on my end. And the text kind of blends in because there's no border around it.
Yep.
I don't know if you would agree with that.
No, I would probably, to be honest, I would probably make very dramatic thumbnails where I cut the person's face out, make it very high contrast. The background would probably be black, and then the text would probably be red, and that would probably be what it is. And I would probably always use close-ups of their faces or like use their mug shots or something like that. But that's me.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
I would make them super that, and I would like, and I probably would use some type of intriguing word or triggering word next to them. Like with the Chris Watts thing, I probably would have used his face. I probably would have made it high contrast, black and white, and I would have probably just used his name in red and the background be black. And the thing is, that's probably what I would have done. I probably would have even maybe made like a little bit of a red highlight a little bit behind him or something. I would have just made it dark and creepy. I would just make everything dark and creepy. I mean, if you want to look a really good example of thumbnails, go back to Corpse Husband's channel when it was Creepypasta before the Among Us days and just super creepy dark thumbnails.
I also don't know necessarily who these people are.
But the people who are into true crime absolutely do. And these people are also, remember, these people are infamous. These people are in news headlines that you and I turn off the news, Jordan, for a reason.
Yeah. I was just, my point on saying that was just for browse, just in case. You never know whose browse audience it gets in.
Fair enough. But also, again, if you make it also look like, oh, these people are absolutely like people in the news, these people are, words that'll get us demonetized here, like then that will, even the casual viewer will go, oh, like, is that recent, or what's their body count, or like you want that intrigue. So like so the Asian My Show official trucking channel, thanks Roberto, you helped me go from 1,000 a month on AdSense to 15,000 a month. Appreciate your videos. Thank you. Appreciate that. See, there you go. That's the thing. And I love that. I love hearing the success stories, and see, that's the real thing. And that's where that means so much to me, especially when I sometimes get this stupid criticism from people who don't even make content about my channel. I mean, I get where some of it comes from. To be honest with you, if you don't know anything about YouTube, looking at a channel with 500,000 subs and then looking at some of my views, it wouldn't make sense. However, you'd also be assuming that I have the same goals as every other YouTuber. You'd also be not knowing about how good my ad revenue is, regardless of how many views I get. Like, and not just from the generous audience we have here with super chats, which I appreciate you. Fun with Bugs, $10. Thanks for everything you do to help creators. But I'll show you all that a little bit after we do all these channel reviews, because I need to just kind of make a point clear that you can't judge everything by the surface metric of views. They mean a lot more to you if you're like, if you don't understand how YouTube works, you get sucked into these vanity metrics, and it's really easy to judge channels. But just remember at the end of the day that like PewDiePie is the most famous person on this entire platform. 100 million plus subscribers. He's not pulling 5 million views, 10 million views every upload. And that's fine. He's doing what he enjoys. He's making a crap ton of money. And at the end of the day, I just think that it's really interesting that there are people who will knock a full-time content creator if they're not one. Like, and that's just like a really funny story of those who can't talking down on those who are doing. Like, but I digress.
Yeah. Should we go on to the next channel?
We will. I just want to get Ivan here. It's $5 CPM pretty high. Currently up to $5 CPM. It's high for most channels in most niches in terms of entertainment. The average is typically between $1 to $5 in anything entertainment based. In anything business related, you'd be looking at 10, 20, or even 40. But those are outlier things, but it's normal. If you talk to anybody, like, for example, Jesse McJuggernuggets with the Psycho series, he'll tell you average is like $2 to $5, which means the average YouTuber makes a tenth of a penny per view, which is why I again, views aren't everything.
Tell that to somebody who does TikTok and has stopped.
With TikTok, I mean, you can talk about that a little if you want, but like with TikTok, it's worse than a tenth of a penny per view. It's like
that's what I was getting on. It's
like 100 of a penny.
It's worth giving up the few $100 per month and the stress of it just to grind YouTube to be able to make more money long term. Personally for me. And
to build, in my opinion, and then to build a long-term viable brand, because I think that again, we've resolved some of those things may or may not have been resolved. I just still have some reservations about what our relationship with ByteDance and China and those things can look like. And if you build your brand on that, I don't know what happens to you if our relationship with China changes with that app. You know what I'm saying? I'm
somebody who I would consider myself decently connected within my area of TikTok and know people who tell me stories of others. The thing with TikTok is, and this is my biggest reservation on it from people I know, it's very easy to build an audience. But because it's so easy, sometimes you never have to think about the business side of it. And it just goes too fast for you if you're able to blow up. When on YouTube, you're not, 1% of people, you have to go incremental step by step by step by step on YouTube. And it's not going to happen overnight. At least for most people. But with TikTok, it can just happen tomorrow. You could have 1 million followers from just one video you post, and you're not going to be ready for it.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, overnight success is overrated, in my opinion, because psychologically, we're not built for it.
Yeah.
Psychologically, mental health-wise, stress-wise. Do you realize that, like, you know, if I blew up tomorrow beyond where I am right now, in terms of like getting another 500,000 people, even over the next week or month, even for me, it'd probably be a complete disaster.
This is just my thought. You wouldn't know necessarily where your content should go because you have 500,000 new people and you don't have data.
Exactly. So that's one part of it. And then the other part of it is that's too big of an audience to understand in that short period of time, culturally where they're at, to know what is or isn't okay.
Yep.
So it's too easy to end up offending people, or it's too easy to be out of bounds, and it's too easy to then have a war between your previous loyal fan base and your newcomers. Anyone who builds a new fan base too quickly risk alienating the people that they came up with and then not respecting them, because it's too tempting to say, well, I've got this new audience now. If those two cultures are not compatible, it's a disaster.
My TikTok account with Avatar, Star Wars, Attack on Titan, random animes, and everything in between. It's just, it's a great disaster to have. They all overlap pretty well, but it's just a mess.
Sometimes it's the problem of like, have you ever had like, two friends and you're the bridge between them and they don't gel at all, or like when you have a relationship and you're introducing your partner to your crew and they don't gel at all, aside from you being the thing that, like, you see what I'm saying? It's like
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's a
recently.
It's a complete disaster
For an off-stream conversation. It's a funny one.
But I'm just relating that to it's like in real life, just like it's a complete disaster.
Yeah, I already see something on this channel that I want to discuss. I had this conversation today, actually.
Yeah, let's talk about
with friends. The third. I just want to just first go on the third thumbnail. It's just a good example of something I was talking about, and this isn't critique. This isn't like going right at the thumbnail. So we're talking today about layering your thumbnails and the textures. So if I'm not going to be like, can you just pull up my channel real quick just to show like
I was going to
talking about just for this example. It's a good way to explain it if you could put it side by side.
I forget
because my name.
Yeah,
just my name, Haber. Yeah, I can just use the second one as a good example. So if you look at actually, you don't even have to go back because it's just a bigger screen. Or no, to the channel, just go to search because it's just the first thing that comes. It's a bigger screen for people in chat to see. Or no, back page. Or video.
Oh wait, actually I have a way to just
zoom in. So the Kazuya video and the basketball video, right? So that background in the Kazuya video is blurred out. It's a Gaussian blur from Photoshop. But instead, it was just a huge explosion. And it was just like fire all over the place, and it was really sharp. And it didn't catch the sharpness of the background catch the eye, but not the main focus, which was the rule of thirds, Kazuya, Tekken, and Smash, and the tweets. And this
is a well done thumbnail, by the way. This is a really good.
Thank you. The Kazuya basically pops out. The drop shadow's on it, but the fire. I know it's fire. The topic of the video is, hey, the characters in Smash, he was revealed over a volcano. It's pretty iconic, apparently.
The fire itself was a detail that would be irrelevant and be distracting, so you made it more subtle.
Right, but you can still tell it's fire. If you show it to anybody, it doesn't matter. But if you go to the third thumbnail on the channel we were just looking at, it's the money. And this is what I noticed right away. First off, if I looked at that channel, the first thing I look at is the money. But it's purple. If that was blurred and a bright green, I would know it's money right away, just because just a 5% blur, and then the this or that doesn't. My eyes go right to the money.
Purple is his branding. What I would have done is I would have done the blur of the background, like you're saying. But the money that is with the the focus attention, I would have put a filter on that to make it more green and exaggerate it. I would have probably made it the stack of cash slightly bigger than it is, and I would have even considered making that money bag either green or yellow, and that would have popped with the purple in the background. And then, I would have less distracting elements. The money would be more in focus, like you're talking about, and it would accomplish the same thing.
Exactly. And funny enough, just because something that you said made me think about one of my favorite channels, we talk about this a lot, Colin and Samir, and their use of yellow over time.
Yes.
How it used to be such a prominent thing, but now on some videos, you can barely tell. But you see a hint of yellow, and it's there. So
and now I associate the color yellow with their brand,
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. But on these ones, the Lily Singh and the Sarah one, the purple's really well done there because it's not the thumbnail. It's just it's him, purple. That's how I think. I just love branding stuff.
Yeah, no, I love branding and design. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah. Tell me if I'm saying too much. Just let me know.
You're not. You're fine, and it balances me out talking over everybody. So here's what I find interesting. I always find it interesting when I look at what was the most viewed video or series of videos on a channel and what's going on with that. Because the thing is, brand deals itself has something of a market cap. I've noticed this myself. It has something of a market cap. And as a topic. And so this channel is largely, as you notice, like a comprehensive library of everything we could really want to know about brand deals. I mean, it's more about being a creator, similar to my channel. However, if you look at these playlists, I mean, it's the most comprehensive information that there is on brand deals, even beyond what I'm doing. But the problem is the attention market cap around that topic is, I think, the variable, which means that, but again, his business model is that he is himself a brand deals coach, which is great, and which is, I think, is much desperately needed, in this space, desperately needed. However, in terms of getting more views, I think that what would get more views is balancing a lot of this around the things that prepare people to get a brand deal in the first place, which is, frankly, the qualifiers for beginning to truly get brand deals where you don't get ripped off is getting more than 10,000 followers in any given platform. And that's what qualifies people for the most part. People who aren't necessarily as industrious as yourself, per se. I think the bare minimum is, because again, when you have less than that, you get screwed in a lot of these deals, is getting people even prepped up to a point of doing brand deals. Because you look at the most popular video, the best link in bio to make money on Instagram. So like, tell me, even beyond brand deals, tell me the other ways I can make money as an influencer and as a content creator. I'm going to want to do brand deals. That's kind of a given. But then also help me get to the things that even qualify me to be your client, to be your customer, which I believe is 100, 1,000, 10,000. And then I'm qualified to be your customer, because I'll be your customer if you're the person who helped me get to a place that makes sense for me to be your customer. Does that follow? Does that track?
I lost a little bit, but from what I heard, yes.
Okay.
I was just reading the super chat.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we got a couple here. Let me
It's actually really interesting what Jonathan wrote.
Wanted to get your opinion. I'm working on making a channel to tell real life stories using the Unity game engine to animate the video game cutscene. I like that idea a lot, to be honest with you. I think it could be dope. I have to see the execution of it, but just as a concept, that's fascinating. I'm very intrigued.
One thing that immediately popped into my head, Tommy Innit, the way he does his real life stories.
Yeah.
When I'm doing this, I'm realizing how much YouTube I actually watch. If you ever watch Tommy Innit play Minecraft, and whenever he does his videos on his real life stories, he just does like stuff, and his editors just animate funny pictures and videos over it and have text going. That's something kind of what you can do.
Interesting. But I think with the Unreal Engine, you could take it to a whole nother level.
Exactly. I think it could be completely different.
Yeah.
But it's just a basis of a channel that is huge and doing something like that, and the way telling stories.
Yeah. Aaliyah Destor, thank you for the $24 super chat. Appreciate you. And yeah, I got all the super chats. Yeah. So Creator Wizard, I hope that helps. We did Ella, then Carolina's. Let me do Cheryl Albright. So let's see. What's your channel really all about?
I think it's her singing.
It looks like that. So Cheryl, you need a banner that tells me what your channel is about, so I don't have to go to the about section, because that's going to help a lot. And in theory, I might for a channel name. What do you think about Cheryl Albright Sings? Because that could, I mean, unless you feel like you'd get pigeonholed, but it looks like that's primarily the direction you're going, or at least in theory. If I were you, I would focus on your body of work, because that is, I think, what you're doing here is like you are kind of creating a body of work around your singing and your performances. The thing is, I would also, again, thumbnails. Don't make thumbnails an afterthought. Use effective thumbnails. Because again, I think that maybe this is more about your body of work. So this represents like a portfolio. So if it's a portfolio, there's not a lot of YouTube strategy beyond what you would actually even do if you have your own website. If you're a performer and you're building a body of work, you want to basically think about making this stuff into your reel. And the way you want to do that is you still want to package it with your thumbnails in such a way as they would be a photo that you would use in marketing yourself as a performer. So there's that part of it. And then the other part of it is strategically not just putting this stuff with the title, but I think you would add some context to the title of maybe putting in your name or if it was performed live or if it was performed, or you know what I'm saying? It's like you have to contextualize a portfolio. And a portfolio that you're hosting on YouTube is very different than trying to be a YouTuber. And I think if you're a performer and you're not building like a YouTube brand as a performer, but you're like a real life like performer at events and so on and so forth, I would then package this very differently. And I would also pair it with my own website, and I would be like embedding my videos and stuff like that. But I also may not embed my YouTube videos because then you have the issue of YouTube putting whatever ads it wants in the videos. So I might, for my website, I'd probably actually use Vimeo, to be honest. So that's what I think.
Can't really say much here. I'm not too knowledgeable on this subject.
Yeah. And Cheryl says she understands, so that's cool. So yeah.
They're talking a lot about building merch. I've been watching the chat a little bit, but they don't have many, like a big audience yet. I've had a friend that was doing this as well. Yeah.
And we're gonna be wrapping up here soon because it's getting late. Tomorrow's my birthday. And
happy birthday.
Thank you. I have to eat real food. So something to think about is, in general, and I'm going to talk about this channel, something to think about in general is building a website to support what you do outside of whatever these platforms offer. You can use the platforms to promote and drive traffic and all the things, but at the end of the day, I still believe very firmly that there's nothing like having your own website. So that. Airworthy Tours, your guide in the sky, providing aerial tour videos and travel guides. So I like that. 1,000 subscribers. See, with one of these, the thing is the views will be dependent entirely on the interest in the location at any given time. So there's not going to be a consistency or continuity in views for a channel like this, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I'm trying to frame people's expectations, because I think the problem is people's expectations of how YouTube should be is entirely correlated to the channels they choose to watch, which doesn't work. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a channel just like this I actually watch.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just pulling it up. UA Visuals is something
nice.
like this.
Yeah. I like this concept, by the way. And again, I think the visuals speak for themselves. So the thing is, you're, in my mind and in my opinion, a lot of what you're doing is already correct. I would just say that when it comes to your thumbnails, that the thing that I would do is, again, use the most interesting angle. And I don't think you always necessarily need to use text, but if you do, please don't use block text. Don't use a block and then put text on it. Just make it readable if you're going to use the text. But frankly, I'm not even convinced that you always need the text unless it's, I mean, the San Francisco thing, it works because that actually looks good and it makes sense. But I would avoid using these blocks. You have text that runs into the timestamps. I would avoid that if possible. And again, I would use the most interesting photo or angle. See, I would have like zoomed in more and cropped on that Golden Gate Bridge. See, that's so small. The picture of the Golden Gate Bridge there is so small. I would have just used this as the thumbnail. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm wondering if this is more portfolio work as well.
Even if it is, I would still use the most interesting piece for the portfolio. But what it really is I think it's for like a portfolio for a business. So, but again, I would still use the most interesting thing. And if I'm going to use text, I would make the text not run into the timestamps. I would make it not block text, and I would go in that direction. But overall, I think this channel is fine. I just think that what it will always have is no correlation between views and subscribership, because that's not really the point, and that's not how this would work, because it'll be based on the interest in the location at any given time.
Yeah, I do love this type of content. I watch it a lot. And also, thumbs up TV is a good way to check if there's text in the bottom right being blocked out.
Yes, thumbs up.tv. Pam Jordan Pam fam, happy birthday, Roberto. Interesting that you mentioned building a website. I'd love to hear your opinion on if I should build one. Mine, my channel is a fragrance and makeup focused. I absolutely would, and I would do a lot of affiliate marketing, and like I would probably capitalize on that. Because also I think that there's a lot of value in being able to do buyer's guides and roundups and listicles and things of that nature. So Jordan, I want to take a peek at your channel.
Thanks.
And then we're gonna wrap up tonight, and then I'm gonna eat something before I die. Like, so the Kazuya video is almost at 1,000 subs in a day. You have a channel
right now. Let me just check the back end of it. It's at 812, which is doing really well. 24 hours watch time. The reach is 4.9 thousand. 11.3% click-through rate.
It's crushing it for what your channel is. It's crushing it because, again, you don't even have 1,000 subscribers, and you're getting more views than subs at this point. So on that particular video and on some of your other stuff, it looks like you're getting like real close. Like, I mean, this one on Utopia, for example.
Yeah.
So again, you can have these videos that break out, and again, you're living proof that the subscriber count doesn't matter as much. I know why it matters to people. I understand, and it matters for brand deals. I get it, but it was like I keep explaining. There's not a correlation between view and subscribers. There's just like it doesn't. And again, it's the thing that's so frustrating to me, because it's only people who watch big YouTubers who believe that. Because anyone who actually makes YouTube content knows better. The minute they start making YouTube content, they go, yep, nope, that doesn't. Like, you realize the first time you ever get a video that gets exponentially more views than you have subs, you know that subscriber counts don't really do anything.
That happened with my Metopia video. And funny enough, I just was studying for my LSAT, and when you said, was it subs don't correlate to views, same thing as correlation does not equal causation. If you've taken any psychology class or anything along those lines,
correlation does not equal causation. People see big YouTubers, big subscriber count YouTubers, and so they immediately correlate these things. And that's why they came up with the view to sub ratio nonsense. The culture came up with that. YouTube has said it doesn't matter. YouTube official, and they don't believe it. You know, it's the only person that the community will ever accept. If PewDiePie comes out and tells people how it is, then they'll believe it. But not a minute before. Linus has said it. MKB has said it. MKBHD has said it. Linus has said it. So many creators with over 1 million or even over 10 million have said it. But until literally Mr. Beast or PewDiePie says it, no one will believe.
And there's a reason. I mean, my channel, I know it's a very, 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 very small scale, but you can look at exactly what's going on here. Metopia video, trending topic. People were searching for it. Boom, views. The next video, Animal Crossing. It was not trending. It was not.
And there was no search traffic to siphon. And there was no search traffic to siphon. Look at this. 600 on the double the subscriber count that you had 3 weeks ago. Metopia. But people are looking for it.
That video. So actually, the Kazuya video and the Metopia video, exact same. Literally the exact same video, except the Kazuya video I just did better. Like, it just over time you get better at making videos.
Yep,
which is why it's doing well. Kazuya was 3 days after E3 happens. Metopia is gaining 20, 30 per day, only at 80 views first day of being up. The Kazuya video is taking off. And the thing I'd like to say about that is because it was trending more.
Yeah. And the death spiral isn't real. The death spiral of, oh, this video didn't perform, so the next one went. It's not real. Because look at this. This video didn't have a bunch of views, and then you have 8K, and then the next video didn't necessarily benefit from any kind of bump off of that. And then the next video outperformed it, then down, then up. It's like
the best part about it is when Kazuya is doing well, my Smash Bros. Basketball video, Luke Skywalker, Who to Main Smash You Hate Yourself, and Falcon Punch all getting views. And right now, I'm just doing entirely
because right
Smash
now
Bros.
there's a correlation between, there's an interconnectivity between those, because it's, again, the Smash tide is lifting all ships.
Yep. And all the content I'm making is literally just going to be about Smash for the next few months. And then I can branch out to Pokemon when it comes out, Arceus when it comes out.
Unless you immediately have the ability to jump on a wave, in which case you should probably try to.
Hence Pokemon, Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Different things, like one-off videos. And then my next video tomorrow, I actually have to script it after I go to bed. I'm making, Crash Bandicoot?
Yes, I do. Very familiar.
Yep.
Played the original. Yep.
Let me actually send you.
God, were you even born when I played the original? Probably not.
No, probably not. Funny enough, I'll send you the thumbnail just so I can talk people through the idea behind it, just so people can visualize it better. I'm just gonna send you a Twitter DM. I just think this is a good lesson because this is what I've been learning, and it's the same thing I do with TikTok. I just sent you the thumbnail. I don't know if you can post it up on screen, but probably not.
Wait, actually, I might have a way to do it. Give me a second.
You're good. Yeah, I was going to say exit out. Because the thing is, my videos now have to link together. Like, if I was just to make a random video of me playing Smash, it'd do well, but it's not going to get a super amount of views. And then I'm just talking people through my mindset here.
I'm going to switch. I'm switching the hang on. Here it is. And yeah.
This is the thumbnail for the next video. The big thing is that Crash Bandicoot was rumored for Smash. And I was actually away on vacation, so I couldn't make a video right before E3. Because Yuya gets into Smash. Now everyone's like, oh no, Crash Bandicoot's not going to get in. This thumbnail right here, Crash Bandicoot, the envelope is how you get invited to Smash. And it's a big X, no. And you automatically know what the video is about. And then anybody watching my video for the Kazuya one, because it's going to get more views later on this week, will immediately be thrown into unsuggested Crash Bandicoot, not in. And I know people are interested in that. And then after the Crash Bandicoot video, Kazuya is going to come out. Do another Kazuya video. Then after that, do a tier list or two. And just keep riding these waves. And just keep going. That's what I'm thinking, at least.
No, it makes total sense to me. So there is one more channel to review because he had to send over his channel because it couldn't be found. So give me one quick second here.
Yeah, I always feel like, even when talking to my friends and stuff, I feel like it's good to just walk through someone's thought process.
I agree 1,000%. I think that if you understand I think one of the problems I have with people with the empty criticism on the internet, or everyone on the internet thinking that their criticism is valid criticism, is they never asked a single question about intent, which means that they don't have a basis for knowing the objective, and then they're offering criticism without understanding what the goal was. If you don't understand what the goal was, how can you, That
was the biggest issue with my channel in the beginning. I was literally hopping through 20 different topics, just seeing what stuck. I started doing Star Wars and Avatar, and now I'm like, wait a second, my bread and butter Smash Bros. I know it's about Nintendo. Boom, intent, Smash Bros.
Exactly. So, Michael, I think because your channel is impossible to find by just typing your name, and your name is super common, you might need to name it something like Michael Thomas Cinema or Michael Thomas Reviews or something of that nature. Probably Cinema, because you say you're a novice cinephile. Your banner, while explaining what you do, the novice cinephile doesn't mean much to the rest of us, but you're at least explaining some of what you do. But the thing is, with the stuff that you're covering, I would have just put it in the banner. I told Jordan the same thing. And it makes a difference. It's like you realize, oh, this is what this is about. I would be doing the same thing. There should be what you're all about here. And the thing is, I understand wanting to cover the gamut and genre of a lot of different things. I know you probably see a lot of larger people review whatever show or series they want, I would consider getting a lot more focused before deciding to branch and cover everything you're just interested in. If your goal is growth, if your goal is expression and I want to talk about things I want to talk about and I enjoy and love, it's like you can do that for a phase of YouTube while you find your voice. I have no problem with it, which is why I don't feel like people need to grow in their first year of YouTube. They just want to. People want to grow in their first year of YouTube. I think what people probably should do is just like a sport, is get a taste for it, just like a sport and a musical instrument, and you don't have to necessarily succeed your first year of doing something that you're passionate about. If you're passionate about something, you don't have to be good at it right away. I wasn't good at photography when I started. I wasn't good at art when I started. You don't have to be good at something right away, especially if you're passionate. Problem is that people are pursuing YouTube as a career and then wanting results within a year, but they haven't given it what they would give any other career. If you're a doctor, there's no way that year one, you're expecting anything as a medical student. As a medical student, you know that you just are a scrub and you got to learn the ropes. And it's like you literally can't do anything. Okay. If you even started a new sport, you would have no expectation that you could ever score goals on like anything, you know? You would never be okay. You'd never sit there and think, oh, I'm first year and I'm gonna dunk on people that have been that are varsity. Like there's no way. There's no freaking way that a freshman is gonna sit there and take on varsity people. It's rare. It's super rare. It'd be ego driven to think that you're gonna do that, right? So what I would say about something like that is I don't think that people treat YouTube with the respect that they would treat any other career when they say they want to pursue it as more than a hobby. If you want to pursue it as more than a hobby, why are you looking to get results right away? Because it's really, really like something that, why would you be good at writing scripts? Why would you be good at SEO? Why would you be good at graphic design? Why would you be good at video editing? Why would you be good at video production? Why would you be good at talking on camera if you've never done it? Why would you be good at those things? Right? So, Michael, what I would say is, I think you have time to find your voice. I don't think you necessarily need to be focused on growth. You might desire growth. It may not be the answer you were looking to hear. It may not be the answer you were looking to hear, but I think that what you could do and should do, because again, people who are watching are enjoying your content. I see your like ratios are here amazing. So what I would say is I think you have time to explore finding your voice. And I think you have time to like start crafting and learning what makes a good thumbnail and because again, you haven't made that many videos yet. So there's no need to put any pressure on yourself to expect anything from it beyond the ability to get better over time. Because I just think that most people, if I put the pressure on you to be good at something you've never done before, and I told you you have to produce results on it within a week or 30 days or 90 days or less than 100 tries, you would say I'm being unreasonable. So that's why I want people, I'm using this as a teaching moment to say, if you haven't done it before, there's no reason you have to be good at it in a year.
I have just a few ideas for this channel, because this is kind of similar to mine. Like I did a few things in the beginning like this. Yeah. First off, the first thing that comes to mind right here, the newest video he made is actually something I was thinking about earlier. Funny enough, I was listening to all the OPs on my ride home for My Hero. Love the show. Yeah, that is very interesting. That is such an interesting concept that I don't see many people doing. And that's like high level thought. And if I saw that, you couldn't not click on it. The thing is the thumbnail. And it's, if you could scroll back up just so people could see what I was discussing. Yeah. So the thumbnail here, right? My Hero, I mean, you have Bakugo, Deku, Todoroki, and just kind of the basic group. But there is a music arc in the show. Yes. So season 5, the end with the festival with Eri. You can take one of the characters, I think it's Jin, her name is, someone who's really known for music in that show. Yeah. Crop him out. You may not have Photoshop, but it looks like, I think he does. Put really big And then
you could do it
My
with
Hero-
Canva. You could do it with
Yeah.
Canva.
My Hero, music, right? And the rule of thirds, I don't know if you want to explain that, if you know what I'm talking about, is such a huge thing.
Yeah,
that-
rule of thirds is a graphic design term. I will let them YouTube search a video on it. But yeah.
That's kind of just the rule I use for thumbnails. Also, if you're making a video on how My Hero Academia uses music, that can be 9 minutes, right? But for the reviews, and nobody's going to be interested in the, because I've learned this, how I learned to love Legend of Korra. Nobody cares. I mean, it's awful to say. Nobody cares about my videos that I say why I think this, because I'm not big. On TikTok,
Right.
they do, but here they don't. And if you can retool the titles to be a generic to everybody,
to be more accommodating to the casual viewer.
More accommodating to the casual viewer. Also, the biggest view count on this channel, if you scroll down, it's 300 something views. It was an announcement video. Or not announcement, new Avatar movie announced. Right? If you were doing anime, oh, by the way, My Hero Academia's new trailer came out today.
Yeah, see?
Which actually just came out yesterday. The Endeavor arc with all that in the agency is just about to start. If you go and make a video on that, like today or tomorrow, just your thoughts, your ideas, no spoil, and you put spoiler free, really good.
That would be very good. That would do, because again, that's also taking advantage of timing. Like we said earlier, taking advantage of timing is really important. There's like one more, just because I mean, I closed it down like an hour ago, but I guess because it was still the pin thing, there was a submission. I'm going to do a very quick one for Keep It Techie, and then we got to go. We really have to go because it's about to be like 11 o'clock over here.
I gotta get to bed.
I do as well, and then I literally have to eat something. I'm starving. I'm gonna die.
It's your birthday tomorrow,
and it's my birthday tomorrow. So the first main thing is I think that channel art I can live with, but it also is a little hard to read. I think that the thumbnails could be stronger. And then there's the issue sometimes of text running into the timestamp there. But again, I think that the thumbnails, if you look at the biggest channels in tech, and even if you look at people who aren't necessarily making product reviews, but you even look at someone like Tech Lead, the thumbnails have to be more competitive and compelling. And so I really feel like a little bit of Photoshop goes a long way. You know, I think a little bit of Photoshop goes a long way. I want to see what the most popular video is here to see what we can learn from it. So the most popular stuff here is probably the most utility content, and therefore it also isn't relying on the thumbnails. But then that's not what the current content also is. So if the current content is being, because it looks like it's also now more live stream based. It looks like a lot of it is very live stream based now, and then some of it is individual utility content, but it looks like a lot more of it is becoming a podcast. So I think that it's very difficult to look at this and say, because like I think you're splitting an audience, but it looks like the podcast is strong, and I almost wonder if it would be better to just literally take the whole thing mostly in the direction of just doing the podcast, to be honest. But if I was, I also would get the images of my guest, and I would make them like almost billboards for the guest, and I would like try to make the guest rock stars. I would look at how other podcasts are doing their thumbnails for their guests, and I would do that. So I would just like make it look more premium. You know what I mean? I would make everything for this channel and for the thumbnails, and especially for the interviews and the podcast, I would just make it feel very premium. And so I would upgrade those visuals. What do you think, Jordan?
I just say visuals and colors. It's really dark. I actually always have my YouTube on dark mode. That's a big thing that so my computer, right, I'm on my desktop right now and I have my laptop on my left. And I've just noticed having your like laptop or computer
I
on
used
dark
to have
mode,
mine in dark mode.
it's just such a, like, if you were to switch it right here, these don't pop.
That's fair.
I think having your channel, like having your YouTube browser on dark mode is such a big thing, because otherwise, I mean, when something is so dark and sucks in the color.
And the tech community, his viewers in the tech community probably are straight up always on dark mode.
Yeah. I mean, it's just how it is. And even if you're not having viewers on dark mode, if you go to like your homepage on YouTube when you're in dark mode, some thumbnails pop out right first because there's so much color and it looks better. That's a little cheat that I use.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think the main thing is, oh, by the way, I'm going to point you as a mod.
Oh, thank you. Another thing with the thumbnails, the logos of like Linux, the penguin,
yes,
could be huge.
Yeah. And it would probably, more than using the word Linux in the thumbnail, it would probably make more of an impact, to be very honest with you. And then the people who know, they know. Like, so yeah, I feel like maybe the direction I would go is, it feels like it wants more to be a podcast. So I would go in that direction. And then if I was going to make utility content, I would probably, again, go really hyper on the thumbnails. I mean, there's like, I don't see any value in this Palpatine meme being in a thumbnail around this Linux tutorial, to be honest. I think that it would be better served being saying what it is and having a huge Linux penguin in it.
Yeah, Palpatine, I mean, we're both huge Star Wars fans, doesn't
I'm a big Star
sense.
Your feeble skills are no match for the powers of the dark side.
I used a Palpatine do it meme in my Kazuya video.
Do it now.
Star Wars is universal, but I mean, it doesn't make sense with Linux unless you're being like, how to mod your Linux into a Star Wars thing.
Yeah, I like, so yeah, so again, and again, like, don't, you maybe take some of this to mind, but not to heart. None of this is like dunking on anybody. I'm just like, I'm thinking as a viewer, as a tech guy, like, of what I would click on, and I'm trying to get it to a place to where, because I feel there's clearly an audience for this and there's value in it, but I think it's missing more of the, like, I like this Linux backdoor thumbnail. This Linux backdoor thumbnail, it has some things that could be better, but this is like going in a better direction in terms of it making sense for somebody to just click on that and for it to say what it is, and having something thematically that makes sense. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, another big thing, just going back on a few things you were saying before, Reddit. Reddit, yeah, that was just slipped my mind from the last channel. Reddit's huge.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And even these, like, if you put this on the tech community in Reddit, like some of the older videos, even just like not one of your newer videos, one of your older videos, be like, hey guys, this is what it's about. You may get utility taken off of it, but it helps.
Well, it depends on where you share it, and that depends on what your status is with that community. So as a utility play, there's promotion there.
Yeah. Oh, he said he's not taking it personal.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. One thing with design, I know you have to get going. For me, I've been doing like design work since I could begin remembering. And
right on.
One of the biggest thing with thumbnails, I think it's a skill that does not come very easy to a lot of people.
No,
not at all. And
even a graphic designer doesn't necessarily mean they'll make a good thumbnail. They'll make a visually correct thumbnail, but that's not the same thing as an effective thumbnail.
No.
I also just want to say hi to somebody in the chat there. Hey, Tipster, how's it going, man?
And copying sometimes or imitation is the biggest form of flattery.
It can be, and the thing is, there's points where it makes sense. Now, outrightly, directly snatch.
No, never do that.
Never.
But if you take inspiration, if you search up the topic of your video and see the first 10 thumbnails, say, wait, I like this from this thumbnail. I like this from that thumbnail. I like this, and you see the best designs from each one of your topics. Try to take the best of everything and create your own design. For someone who has no design background.
I agree. I mean, there were color combinations. I looked at other people's stuff, or even sports teams. I looked at sports teams a lot for color combinations for branding, and I go, oh, that's, you know, perfect and everything like that. I mean, even with the brand deal stuff, I went with Lakers colors. Like I went with Lakers colors.
Yeah.
I was like purple and gold. That
was my end screen actually for a few videos.
Yep. R.I.P. Kobe though, but yeah.
I was talking to a friend today. I was giving him advice on his thumbnail. He used a red circle with no stroke background and a green arrow. I was like, that's what people can't see when they're colorblind because they're too similar on the color wheel. You can't use too similar. They have to be contrasting. And that just
exactly.
That's why a design thing.
That's why for YouTube related stuff, a lot of times I go red blue. Red and blue, and it's strong. It's really strong.
Great.
Yeah, NBA themselves went with their stuff with the red and blue. You know, like for the NBA logo. Like so, sports teams and sports associations. I mean, they've already done all the research on color theory, on font choices, on aesthetic, on a lot of the staples. Like, so you don't need a background in graphic design. And again, even if you have one, remember, as a graphic designer, that's where that's sometimes where I actually undercut myself on the thumbnails. Although I think my own real problem is titles. And again, I'll show you guys one last thing, and then we really got to go because I'll show you guys something on my channel. Because again,
we could keep talking forever about this type of stuff.
Yeah, I know. But I do want to show them something from my own channel here.
So while you're searching that up, one thing I like to always look at is primary colors. Have you ever lost primary colors?
Yeah, that'll do it. But I want to show you guys something on my channel. So in my YouTube analytics, because again, like occasionally you get the occasional troll who likes to pop off, and again, even if they've never made content, is people like to sometimes look at my views and criticize, and the reality is that it's literally entirely dependent on this thing called impressions and reach. And I'm going to show you guys on individual videos, just real quick, something. But one of the interesting things is this last part, which actually is what, if you're trying to be a full-time YouTuber, these stats are the more important stats. Because the thing is, if I have not been uploading, because after February, I took some time off for, you know, mental health and needing a break, and I have not been uploading. I start uploading again, the revenue skyrockets. And the thing is, I know at this point, if I really just didn't care about burning myself out and running myself into the ground, I could be making 10 grand a month in ad revenue. I know exactly what to do. The point is, I do not need to keep chasing things. I'm learning a very important lesson as a content creator, which is I'm learning when enough is enough, which I think is one of the things that is not talked about in our industry. Is I'm learning what is enough, and I'm learning that there's a certain amount of money I don't need to make to be happy. There's a certain amount of things I don't need. There's a certain amount of milestones that I've already crushed. I don't necessarily need more. So what I'm saying is, if you're a new or smaller YouTuber, you might be in a position where more is more. But I'm not there anymore. So sometimes you need to actually listen to what I say and not what I do. And I know that sounds hypocritical, but I'm at a different phase in life, turning 37 tomorrow than a lot of people. And I'm at a different phase in my career than a lot of people. And my career is still very different than other YouTubers in terms of where I focus and where my revenue comes from too. Because remember, most of my revenue comes from outside of AdSense. But in perspective, I know how to replicate things like this. And this is what's important in terms of, this is not normal. This is ridiculously abnormal. And I know what would replicate it. But I also know what's useful to my audience versus what makes me the most money. And so the thing is, this is a great video and this is fine. But you know what video is most useful probably to the audience, even if it doesn't get the same amount of views, to be honest? It's this video. It's this video of 9 minutes of no BS advice for content creators that they can apply. And yeah, it has 10K views, and like people would rather have 50 than 10K. And yeah, they'd rather have $1,000 than $100. But to be very real, if you're a YouTuber that is under 10,000, which is probably the majority of people, I don't feel that knowing that YouTube may not be letting you have a 1/10 of a penny per view, even though that got me so much more attention on that video. Not getting a 1/10 of a penny from YouTube per view is not as important as the things that I said in this video that actually are going to help you if you're feeling stuck and help you get perspective as a YouTuber, and actually in many cases help you avoid burnout, help you keep going, help you focus on the right things, it's more useful to you. If it's this video on brand deals that
I noticed it's I was thinking this when I saw the first graph, it's the upward steady up like trend where it just keeps going up versus the peak and slow.
Yes. There's things, yeah, there's things like that. But also, again, this video, you can't knock me for this video when YouTube gave it 150K impressions. But see, a viewer doesn't see that. You only see it on the back end. But like, how can I get more views on this video when the opportunity to get more views does not exist for this video? Not at the moment.
Question. I mean, this is just from my thought process here. Who, what, where, when, why, how. I feel like it's just something I've noticed a lot of the videos I click on is who, what, where, when, why, how. So instead of getting paid brand deals, how to get, and it's just like a simple thing. It's just like, oh wait,
sure,
how? Just something I was thinking about the other day. I wanted your opinion on just like that.
I can change that around. I can try that because I've tried. Believe me, I've changed the title a couple of times.
I recognized. I think it was different, but not saying for this.
I know, video. By the way, I know what would have gotten click, but at the time, I just didn't feel like I'm trying to talk to a smaller influencer about this, you know, but I know exactly what title would have gotten clicked.
What would you think?
How I made $100,000 with brand deals as an influencer.
Gotcha. So that was the question, basically the who, what, where, when, why, how.
Yeah. As an influencer, I don't have to use small influencer. But then the thing is making $100,000 is an appealing outcome and goal. It's also unrealistic and unrelatable for a small influencer. So essentially, I then have to talk about myself and my journey and then go and reach back and give advice. But the thing is, it's a bridge, and I could do it with the storytelling, and I am going to make that video. But the reality is that video is not nearly as useful to somebody trying to start from nothing. But it's the video that someone starting from nothing will click on and will watch. But the thing is, it's not really that helpful to them. It's more helpful to me, and it will get me more views. And there's nuance to it, and I'm trying to be helpful. But this video that didn't get the views is actually what they should be watching. That's not what they want to watch.
It happens.
But the thing is, that's also why a lot of people watch content and then don't feel like they got any better for it. Because what benefits a creator to make is, especially on the education side, and you're seeing a lot of this, people will get clicks on education, but the thing is, and they'll get some nuggets, but they're also the people who get those nuggets and say, oh, I did this and now it's working. There's people who I believe were going to be successful regardless, to be very honest with you. But I think the person who needed the help the most, ends up benefiting the least from the video that's most likely to get their click. In a lot of cases, when you do those tactics, no matter how well intentioned and no matter how much of the bridge of storytelling you do between the thing you achieved, it's still so far removed from where the average person is that it can't really help as much of the people at the bottom as the people who were on the way to the middle anyway.
Yeah.
And that's what breaks my heart, is because it really doesn't help the people at the bottom. But what would help the people at the bottom is not the same thing they want to watch. The people at the bottom want to be at the top, but they want to skip the step of the middle.
And I just commented this in the chat. There's the chat saying there's a lot going on with Mr. Beast and more than just numbers. And someone said it's a science. A small creator is a science. Someone with 1 subscriber is a science. Everybody is I believe that everybody's a science. The conversations I sit on for hours about YouTube, day in, day out, and just listen to content creators be like, I made 10 thumbnails for this video. I made 10 thumbnails just for practice on a video title that I didn't even make the video. And I made 20 titles for this video, going and asking your friends, which one of these 3 titles work?
No, I agree 100%. There is a science. I'll show you something interesting though. Watch this.
100,000.
How many videos do I have with over 100,000 views? I don't think it lets me put a comment in. Yeah. How many videos do I have with over 100,000 views? I have about 60 videos with 100,000 views.
Yep.
So like All right, the ratio of my subscribers is I have 500,000 views. I wonder how many videos do I have, since people think 10% is such a healthy number. How many videos do I have with a 10% view to sub ratio, even though I probably made them before I had that? I bet you it's more than that 109. Yeah, because that number's going up. So not that I would do this and not that I should do this, but if I literally deleted my inventory of 1,400 videos down to the videos that people would respect my view counts on, it's about 1/10 of my videos, right? If I tweak this number some more, it changes. But you see my point is, though, but here's the thing. If you really think about it, if that's the case, 1 out of 10 of my videos being the quote unquote healthy numbers is like still, like, in general, a good success ratio for real life of anything, of like anything doing well, is like, okay, yeah, about 1 out of 10 times. No matter how smart you think you are, if it relies on other people's approval, 1 out of 10 times is probably actually pretty okay.
And what was I going to say? If you do your research on big creators you watch, especially in the, not you, but like in the audience, especially in the gaming niche, especially, I've noticed the middle or the blow up, quote unquote, of their channel has huge views compared to their newer ones, because they're finally able to make what they want with the audience they've cultivated.
Yes.
And every once in a while, everybody, me on TikTok, anybody I know, has to make a video to go viral, or at least the shot at going viral, just so they retain people back in.
Yes. And that's the endless, by the way, that's the endless hedonic treadmill that leads to burnout and leads to breakdowns. Mm-hmm. Burnouts and breakdowns happen because of chasing the dragon, so to speak, right? Mm-hmm. I have a strategy that literally let me take over 2 months off from regular uploading. Because, I mean, if you actually look at, I'll show you guys something in analytics. Because, again, this is what's interesting. But now that I'm back to regular uploading, you literally see I can get views, get subs, get all. Because the thing is, if you look at the timeline of 2021, I was killing it, especially on subs. Like, I was killing it like in 2021. But the thing is, it correlates to an upload schedule, because if you look at the last 28 days, I did not put out any content. So just think about that. I literally put out content twice. Those are good numbers for I literally put out content twice in let's look at 90 days. I've made almost no content. You see these huge gaps? I've made no content in the last 90 days. By the way, these numbers are the numbers I normally get in a month if I'm making content.
Evergreen?
Period.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's evergreen.
Like, period. Because, like, if we look at, like, I made almost no content in April, right? I made no content in April. I made no content in May.
Passive income.
Whoops, I went, is that May? Oh yeah, it's May, but it doesn't show. Oh, but it's not showing the. I have to go to daily view versus monthly. So I made almost no content in May. I made a YouTube short. I did 2 evergreen type videos. That's it. Like, so I made almost no content the entire month of May, for the most part. And as you can see in June, aside from like today, I've made almost no content. You see my point is, now I want to show you, I'm going to go custom, and I'm going to show you like January or February. I can pick, and I'll just pick.
It's so different looking at these numbers compared to the 100 views, 60 views.
Yeah, right?
Soon, I'll get there soon.
Yeah, but look at January, where I'm uploading consistently.
It's just an upwards trend.
Exactly. Right. This is why I keep saying the most important aspect of YouTube that people undermine is really the value of just being consistent and showing up to work. like
even like before, what's it called? I knew you from Clubhouse and everything. Like I watched your videos, and there are some videos like you have to go back twice to watch. And even like people like gaming creators that I watch, specifically AlphaRad.
Oh yeah, great.
His videos are so quality that I've watched some of them 2 or 3 times, and they're just hilarious. and he doesn't need a post for 2 months.
Exactly. But there's also,
yeah,
I just came off of a hiatus and I'm already like on the comeback kid trail, like off of just like, 1 or 2 uploads or whatever, or like an upload and 2 streams, right? For June. So like but you see the difference of how drastic a drop off taking time off. Like, this is why I don't agree with the stance where YouTube says, because if it's 2 weeks, that's one thing. But when YouTube says, oh, taking a break doesn't hurt your channel, I'm making a video about this, by the way, about the truth about that. Because I get where they're saying where they didn't programmatically put anything in, but look at a month where all I did was 2 streams, because live streams are not uploads, so it doesn't work the same way. And look at the drastic drop of like revenue, subs, everything from not uploading just for a month and literally just doing 2 streams in a month, which is not the same as an upload. So you see what I'm saying? I've been doing this so long that I know predictably the science behind this, and I know what works for my channel. And I also, for the channels that I've worked with and consulted, I've consulted some.
Oh, go ahead.
I've consulted channels as big as 6 million subs. I've like worked with like a lot of like dope people, and there are also dope people in the community that have benefited from the content that I haven't even worked directly with, that like have like done tremendous things. And I'm not taking credit for them. I'm just saying this, like, I do know what to do and the data. The problem is the problem is threefold. Sometimes you cannot mentally and physically sustain something just because it has a great outcome, which is an important life lesson, that just because something is getting you money or attention or other things doesn't mean it's healthy for you. And then the other part is there's what I could do that people might respect on a surface level, but it's not always in the best interest of my audience for me to do that. It's like why I turn down certain brand deals. I'm not going to do something that makes me money if I think that it's not always in the best interest of the audience. And then the third part of it is, I don't think that it's a good example sometimes to put the outcome you can get over what you have to go through to get there, because I would rather try to teach people what a healthy version of their hustle might look like, because I cannot stand that we're demonizing hard work and that people are using a few like bad examples of people overworking of what like work ethic does, or what hard work doesn't work out, or this or that. It's like, I want people to understand you can work hard and work smart, and you don't have to also work to death. There's a healthy version even of being disciplined.
And also, to that point, the biggest creators, not all, but a lot of them have an editing team, and a lot of them are able to do it because of the consistency. And that's something, as a small YouTuber, I missed a week and a half. I was on vacation. I finished the video while I was on vacation just because I got bored and I kind of just wanted the video to get done with, because I knew just with time and everything. But these giant YouTubers, even ones with 20,000, have editors because they want to go break even instead of make money so they can make more content. That may not be you.
You can't keep up with a loss leader model, because that's how Amazon and Walmart put small businesses out of business. And the thing is, YouTubers who can go to that model of they don't need to make money are not going to be the same thing as my viewers.
Right here.
Some people, and some people can do that, and some people in college can do that. And there's like, but the thing is, a lot of my audience, there's people that, even if they're in their 20s, if you have like a family or you have responsibilities or something, you cannot reasonably sometimes go to a loss leader model on YouTube, right? So like,
finish what you're saying. I'll go after.
Well, that's where some of the advice I feel of the largest content creators falls a little bit short of acknowledging the circumstances that people, or at least most people, would theoretically exist within. And I'm trying to not be part of that issue, because I'm not blaming them for that, but I'm like, okay, here's where I see a problem. And the problem I see is there's not as much, I believe, as a common sense being pushed of like, what's a common sense version of being a content creator? Because I'm not saying everybody should do this or everyone should be able to do this, but I'm like, what if you look at the biggest content creators and then you think, is that what I have to do? It's almost, that's a little intimidating or even discouraging when you start and you're like, but isn't there a way you could do it without having to have all of that be what you're having to come up with in terms of I need an editing team, or I need to make this much content a week, or I need to, you see what I'm saying? Like realistically, a regular person can't even begin to think of doing that.
I am not a regular person at times with the content that I can make. Like I just have my time so budgeted right now and my priorities because I'm not in classes right now. Classes start. Right. I'm taking 5 classes next
dear semester.
Lord. They're easy. Like they're not easy, but they're less time. They're lesser credits for more classes. So it'll work itself out. Plus the way my schedule works out, I'm a junior, but I'm taking younger courses because I already took my senior course.
It's it's an outlier situation.
I got way too ahead and needed to pick up random minors.
Yeah, no, it happens. It's like
it happens. Yeah,
but you see what I mean?
It's for my degree. Like they're classes I should have taken, but I should have taken them earlier. I took harder classes earlier because I wanted to get ahead.
But you have that like athletic hustler, like grindstone like, and I think that we just have a lot of people coming into YouTube that's just not where they're at or where they're going to be at.
Again, for me, I'm going to use myself as an example here. I hit 10,000 subs. I start making money. I don't luckily have to spend that, and I'm not here to make money.
Right.
But because I'm taking classes, studying for my LSAT, trying to go to law school and everything, oh, wait a second. The money I make goes right back into the business because that's how I think about it. And somebody trying to start YouTube, let's say I hit 10,000
someone trying to start YouTube to quit their 9-to-5 job.
Shouldn't look at that.
Exactly.
And you don't know everybody's situation.
And so that's what I'm trying. Exactly. So now I'm even trying to kind of create silo content for if this is your situation, I can make a playlist. I can make the content thoughtful enough to where I can make a playlist. I'm even trying to figure out a way to make a playlist even for the category of sub count that someone's at, because I recognize that the goals shift. You see what I'm saying? So like, it's this really thoughtful way of making content that doesn't necessarily lend itself to what will grow my channel the most. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's like, cause that's a different type of channel to make than what I'm doing. I think a better example of like, seeing me like be a YouTuber is like my music channel. Like a better example of like me applying YouTubery logic is what I do with the music channel, which is killing it as far as like the numbers go for what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And then people always say like, oh, how do you know to be a content creator? I've been doing, like, for me personally, I've been doing this since I was 13 on so many different platforms. And finally, everything just lined up and works, but not like a lot of the channels we probably look at today. It's like, this is the first go around. There's so many channels that make 100 video. I mean, my TikTok, 100 videos to hit, I think, 10,000.
That's good in my opinion. Some people
it was before, it was like beginning of quarantine, so the numbers were
okay.
Quarantine numbers were inflated there. I made those same
that's
videos
another thing.
Started there. You see a YouTuber who has 1 million subs started 7 years ago. It's
on average, according to the case study we got from 3 million channels with Tubebuddy, that's about the timeline. It takes about that long, you know. It's but think about it, but the thing is also that's not even the 1%, that's the 0.01% of like creators. So like think about it, a decade timeline to be the 0.01% in your craft is still amazing, and it's still an outlier situation. It's like
go ahead.
I just don't think statistically people realize how rare it is to even get 1,000 views on YouTube. It's like 60% of people on YouTube never get 500 views on a single video. So like,
also, myself included, this mic right here, I bought with the money I made from TikTok. Like the keyboard, the camera. I wouldn't have this mic. If you
loss leader business model.
If you look at my first few videos, I filmed on my iPhone with the tripod that's actually in my camera. How did I buy a tripod? With the money I made from TikTok. But I made my first few videos on the phone.
So did Mr. Beast for all the way to 200,000 subscribers. Star Wars Theory, it's like, you know. So again, I guess as we wrap up here, like the point that I think we're both trying to make is you start with what you have. You don't compare yourself to like these people who are literally the 0.01% in life. And you have to establish a thing that works for you, because I think the most important thing is to make being a content creator fit right size into your life. I think you have to literally figure out where you are in life and what applies to you and what doesn't. Because I think the worst thing you could do is compare yourself to someone who has a completely different set of circumstances and judge yourself by that.
Yeah. I have friends doing the exact same thing, and I'm like, I can't compare.
Yep. With that said, everybody, I want to thank all of you for this wonderful super chats. I want to thank Jordan, Viper, and Shelly for joining me on the stream. I want to wish all the fathers a happy Father's Day, what's left of it. All the parents and all of you also, just like, if you have the opportunity, make sure you're giving all your love to your parents. I'm not sure if we have a Sunday stream next Sunday, but I do have a video coming out tomorrow, I believe, on getting your 4,000 hours of watch time. And then I have some money-making videos this week dropping. So you want to stay tuned for that. You also want to stay tuned for that video that I'm doing, 20 life lessons for your 30s. I'm doing that. It won't go out on my birthday, which is tomorrow. Tomorrow is still the 4,000 watch hours video, but it'll come out this week. Anyway, thank you to everybody. I will catch you on the next one. Jordan, thanks again for dropping by.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
All of you stay awesome. We'll see you next time.